Welcome to the BEASTwriter Family, where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we are going to be making sense and breaking down of the news that just transpired yesterday as it pertains to the San Francisco 49ers going ahead and making a move from 12 to number 3 with the Miami Dolphins for the third overall pick. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing to my channel. Just be sure to turn on and flip on the bell notifications so you get notified when I go live or when I upload content. Also, I'm looking at my analytics and I'm seeing a lot of you guys are still watching my podcast, still liking all my stuff, but have yet to subscribe to my channel. So please do so. If you're on Facebook, right here, it's www.youtube.com/BeastWriter, and you can subscribe there. Or if you're on Twitter, simply click the link in my bio. It's up there 24/7, 365. All right. So we did not give away the Family Friday giveaway for this 49er farewell to Candlestick Flag. I am doing that today, and I'm going to announce that winner later on in this podcast, so stay tuned for that. There is a lucky winner to this. Also, Robert Watson, if you're tuning in, I am shipping out your stuff today. And as far as Mel, we are going to meet up shortly after all this COVID thing and vaccinations come through. So we have a lot of good things coming here. And again, thank you so much for your love and support and joining the BEASTwriter family. Strength in numbers where social media engagement is encouraged. This is what it's all about. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about exactly what's going on. Let's get right into it. For those who don't know, the San Francisco 49ers made a power play move, a blockbuster deal in which got the most traffic on the BEASTwriter family channel, where I spoke about why the move was made, right? So why did the 49ers trade up from 12 to 3? Well, obviously they're in play for a quarterback. If you follow my analysis and my earlier podcast earlier on, you would know that I said that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get traded to the New England Patriots. I still believe that to be true. And if you want to see that podcast, again, there's a podcast playlist for all 32 NFL teams as I cover all 32. Just go to my playlist. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, go to the team that you want to know about on my analysis on that specific team. It's all in there for you. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Again, the 49ers struck a deal with the Miami Dolphins moving up from 12 to 3. How is that going to impact what they do at 3? Are they done yet? Because a lot of people are saying, and a lot of analysts are saying, oh, well, they're targeting Trey Lance. Other people saying, oh, no, they're definitely liking Justin Fields. They're going to target Justin Fields. I definitely hold off. I don't think they're done yet. And I've been saying this since day one. I said Fred Warner could potentially be tradable piece to the missing puzzle in wherever Jimmy Garoppolo lands. Now, if Jimmy Garoppolo goes off to New England and it's just a straight one-for-one swap, I am going to tell you why I believe that Fred Warner could be on his way out. And it's not something that I would do if I was GM John Lynch. Of course, you guys know how I feel about Fred Warner before I go and talk about why I believe this move would be made, because you guys also know how I feel about DeForest Buckner once that was made. That was my very first podcast episode where I criticized the move 10,000 times. So could this be a lightning strike twice scenario? Yes, I'm going to break it down. Let's just not dilly-dally around. Let's get down right to business. I'm going to tell you brick by brick using John Lynch's analysis as to why he would make such a questionable move in trading away Fred Warner. Let's peel back layers of the onion, as I always say, to get to the core. So why would the 49ers might trade Fred Warner to the New York Jets for the number 2 overall pick? Well, let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Who was at the pro day? John Lynch, who was also at the pro day. Jets' whole entire contingent, which included who? GM Joe Douglas, head coach Robert Saleh, and offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. People who are saying to me, oh, well, the Niners traded up to number 3 because of the fact that Joe Douglas told the 49ers they were not selecting Zach Wilson. No, that's not what happened. Because let me tell you something. Anybody who knows GM Joe Douglas, who comes from the Baltimore Ravens tree, Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta, their MO is to hide their cards. They're not going to show their hand pre-flop like in the game of Texas Hold'em. Why would you do that? You do that, you lose leverage. And you also lose draft position. So I don't care what kind of relationship you had prior. If you're not with us, you're against us. Plain and simple. And to think that Joe Douglas or Robert Saleh would go out and say, hey, John Lynch, we're not taking Zach Wilson. That's something that rarely takes place because, again, why would the Jets want to put themselves in a compromised position when they pick ahead of the 49ers holding draft position? And then when people come out and say, oh, well, if that was the case, then how come they just make a trade with the Jets in the first place? Let's peel back another layer of the onion to get to the core as I debunk that. The 49ers did not hold favorable draft position at number 12. However, moving up to number 3, they now do. Why? Because now they also hold the opportunity to select the player whoever they wanted one pick later. And if they're willing to jump off ship from Zach Wilson, they could still find their wide receiver. They have a plethora of different needs, okay? Whether it's running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end, offensive line, edge rusher, linebacker, middle linebacker, outside linebacker, cornerback, and strong safety. They have the most needs of any NFL team. Unfortunately, the 49ers do not have the draft capital to mortgage that future in the Jets' favor because of the fact that they gave up so much draft capital to the Miami Dolphins in moving up from 12 to 3. So what do you do in return? The plan B option is for the 49ers, if they want Zach Wilson at number 2, they would have to leapfrog the Jets and give up a star player, an all-pro player, someone who instills the all-gas, no-break mentality, and someone who Robert Saleh can build around for the foreseeable future. Who is that guy? It's Fred Warner. You see how I'm peeling back layers of the onion to get to the core? And the same people who said, when I said it back on November 3rd that he would do a front-loaded deal, and everybody was kind of laughing at me, and then Richard Sherman comes out and says, oh yeah, I don't think I'm coming back because they need to re-sign Fred Warner to an $18-20 million deal. What did I say? And then all of a sudden it's breaking news. No, this is why you follow me. Be in the know before they know. Again, I also put out an earlier podcast about how the Dolphins would trade number 3 after releasing Kyle Van Noy. What happened? Oh, they traded the number 3 overall pick. So go figure. Fast forward to today. Let's check off another YouTube receipt. I said what? Fred Warner can go to the Dolphins or the Jets. What's happening? What are we talking about today? Why is Fred Warner Sr. being so vocal about it? Why is he hopping on my YouTube and agreeing with me? You don't think Fred Warner Sr. knows what's going on? It's Fred Warner's dad. Come on. Let's be real here. And here's some food for thought. Anyone who thinks differently, you really don't know football. Because at the end of the day, again, I've been inside the locker room. I've worked at Levi Stadium, been there for 7 years, had my office there, legit, not just with the 49ers, travel with the team, get to know a lot of the different people. No GM in their right mind would be like, hey, yeah, you can just go ahead and make this deal because we're not taking him. What's the whole point of draft position? It makes zero sense. Furthermore, you guys want to peel back another layer of the onion to get to the core. Here's the third layer. CJ Mosley. CJ Mosley, when he went from the Baltimore Ravens, right, and signed to the New York Jets, the Baltimore Ravens actually used my article up on their website. So I'm very fine in tune with CJ Mosley. Let me tell you something about CJ Mosley. He's best suited for a 34 base defense. What's happening with the New York Jets? They're transitioning to a 4-3 base under Robert Saleh. Furthermore, double down on those gains, and he's the highest paid middle linebacker when it comes to guaranteed money. And there is a reason why CJ Mosley is on the trading block right now. Furthermore, they don't have an inside linebacker. So when you take out CJ Mosley out of the equation, who's going to be the quarterback of the defense? Oh, quarterback of the defense? Who said that? Oh, yeah, that's right. Fred Warner Sr. just tweeted that. Come on, guys, bring it. Let's peel back another layer of that onion. They cannot, I repeat, they cannot absorb a $12.5 million cap hit by releasing him. However, by trading him as a pre-June 1 trade, they would save them the team $1.5 million in cap savings, or they can do it post-June 1 and save the team in excess of $6 million. So yes, Mosley is on the trading block, and those are the reasons why. Furthermore, you can roll in Fred Warner, who Robert Saleh would really like to have, aside for CJ Mosley, who's better suited for a 34 base, coming out of Alabama, then playing for Baltimore in that 34 base defense, and then rolling over to the New York Jets before their transition to a traditional 4-3. So let's not get it twisted. And could this be a contract snag when it comes to Fred Warner? The same thing that happened with DeForest Buckner. Could this be? Could this be? I mean, let's be real about it. Could this be the same contract snag that happened to DeForest Buckner? $20 million a year, all-pro player, defensive player, off to Indianapolis. What happens? He becomes a first-team all-pro, continues that rise as an ascending player. Oh, but he's not worth $20 million. Oh, but he's a first-team all-pro. So first-team all-pros are worth that money, especially interior rushers who generate pressure up the middle as opposed to on the edges. Let's put things in perspective for a second. Again, if you guys are just subscribing to my channel, I said this since day one. This is no surprise here. You guys know that if you followed me since day one. Go back to my very first podcast episode when it comes to making sense of DeForest Buckner trade. Legit. Go ahead and see what I had to say. Again, this is where credibility comes into play. Because again, I like thinking outside the box, but when I say stuff, usually it's spot on and it hits. I don't just throw random stuff out there just to throw random stuff out there for clickbait. That's not how we do things here in the BEASTwriter family. Now, if my colleagues want to do that and teeter-totter back and forth, like, oh yeah, he's good. Oh no, oh yeah, oh no, he's good. Oh no, he's bad. Go ahead, be my guest. That's not how I do it. I stick to my guns. Whether I'm right or wrong, I stick to my guns. More times I'm right than I'm wrong. So that's why I ain't tripping. But let's talk about it for a second, right? Here's another one. You two search BEASTwriter Kyle Vonoy, trade number 3 overall pick. And you'll see why my analysis was 3 weeks ago as to why I said the Dolphins would trade the number 3 overall pick. Here we are today. What did they do? They traded the number 3 overall pick. Here's another one. BEASTwriter, Jimmy Garoppolo, Patriots. Go ahead and YouTube search this. You'll see everything I had to say about that. And people were saying, oh, they're not trading Jimmy G because Kyle Shanahan loves Jimmy G and John Lynch loves Jimmy G. And he says he's going to be the starter here for the next year. Yeah, again, what I said on my live stream. Everybody in San Francisco who's a Niner fan should just make a sign for Jimmy Garoppolo that says 1 more year. 1 more year. 1 more year. 1 more year. Because let me tell you something. The reason he's saying 1 more year, 1 more year, I'll tell you why. Because he wants John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to put that quarterback in a compromised position to where he has to go out and prove himself because he knows the Bay Area media will be all over it. And so is the fan base moving up and giving up the farm for the number 3 overall pick. So how do you leverage that is you take a wait and see approach, let Jimmy Garoppolo take the downfall for his mistakes, and then roll in Jimmy Garoppolo. And the reason why you want to say 1 more year is because, listen to this. In the first 8 games, let's say at the midway point, 17 game season, okay, 8, 9 games, right? Let's say they go 3-5, 3-6. Then it's socially acceptable to roll in the backup, whether it be Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or whoever's behind it, or Trey Lance, pick your poison. But if you do it the other way around, that's not so good. Because we need a scapegoat in San Francisco, and Jimmy Garoppolo would be the scapegoat. Now, what's the whole point with the 1 more year? 1 more year. Okay, on the flip side of that, let's play a little bit of devil's advocate, as I always like to do. Let's say the Niners go 6-3 with Jimmy Garoppolo. Then John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan both look good for saying, oh, you know what? We knew Jimmy had it. We were on him the whole time. We said it publicly that we wanted to keep him here. But hey, you see how they teeter back and forth here? The proof is the pudding. Actions speak louder than the words. They ain't trade up number 3 for no reason. They did it because they're not sold on Jimmy Garoppolo being healthy for a full 16-game schedule. Let's keep things 100 here. That's all I got to say about this. I'm tired, and I'm going to scroll through all these comments here, and we're getting a lot of comments, a lot of good feedback. But no, it's really one of those things that's really interesting. And guys, if my colleagues are listening, and I know they're already picking back on my analysis because you guys are already pointing that out to me, go ahead and feel free to do that. But the Niners are not done yet. They really want Zach Wilson. I'm hearing they really like Zach Wilson, like love Zach Wilson. And the fact that people, again, if you're just tuning in as to why I believe Fred Warner might be considered a tradable asset is because Robert Saleh also loves Fred Warner. And he's also in the market of shopping his middle linebacker, CJ Mosley, who was a 2020 opt-out, who is not good for a 4-3 base defense. He's more suited for a 34 base defense coming from Alabama, then getting drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, and then playing for the New York Jets. Go figure. So it comes to a personnel standpoint to when you're looking at the roster and assessing it from a GM's perspective, because I always like to think as if I'm the GM and you're looking at it and say, you know what, CJ Mosley's good, but not for our system. Robert Saleh be like, you know what, you're right. You know who'd be perfect for my system? Fred Warner. You know what we need? Fred Warner. You know we have cap space for Fred Warner. The Niners do not have draft capital, so maybe we can leverage Fred Warner. So let's just hype up Zach Wilson, act like we're going to go after Zach Wilson, be like, you know, we're all in on Zach Wilson. Let's just bring the whole contingent here. John Lynch is scheduled to be here. I just talked to him on the phone the other day, and he's scheduled to be here at the BYU Pro Day. Why don't you guys have a sit down and a powwow? Because obviously John Lynch would not have made this trip knowing that the Miami Dolphins deal had fall through. He knew it went through already, so why would he attend the Pro Day? Maybe connecting the dots, painting a picture, he was there to discuss trade. Kyle Shanahan was there, but he doesn't make those decisions, does he? No. It's John Lynch. Ridiculous. Carmelitz Red and Gold from the BEASTwriter Family says, Warner is worth so much more than one spot jump. Better get a second at least back. Okay, exactly. So if it's Fred Warner moving up one spot for Fred Warner, right, it's going to be that spot. And of course, obviously more draft capital. It's not just going to be a clear cut one and done deal. Fred Warner is going to come with some draft capital in return. Could it be the team's second round pick? So would you trade? Not saying you would do it specifically, but would John Lynch trade Fred Warner and the second round pick for the number 2 overall pick to secure their services for Zach Wilson? And some people who say that, you know, Zach Wilson is not good, he's inconsistent. I talked to 2 guys at the gym yesterday. We were watching the Pro Day. If you guys watch my Twitter, I multitask all the time. I'm on Twitter, on YouTube, responding to your guys' comments. At the same time, I'm getting my gym gains, which I'm about to do after this live stream. And they were saying, oh, man, I'm not sold on Zach Wilson. I said, what about Justin Fields? Like, I'm not sold on Justin Fields. I said, well, who are you sold on? Well, I guess Zach Wilson's the best fit. Yeah, of course. Duh. All right, Skull Alexander from the BEASTwriter Fantasy. I think it should be 2 and 3, 23. Yes, absolutely. It could be 2 and 23. So you think it could be multiple first round picks for to move up for the number 2 overall pick. Interesting take. However, there's something with that because the Jets holds the second and the 23rd pick. However, with that being said, again, if you're GM Joe Douglas and you have a plethora of different needs, you're going to want an all-pro player. And if I'm Joe Douglas, and again, I'm thinking like the GM perspective. You guys know when I drop your comments and in your responses here in the BEASTwriter family, I always think like the GM. If I was the GM, if I was Joe Douglas, I want Fred Warner. He would be the instant plug-and-play player, the cultural identity of the team's franchise player on defense, and the face of that franchise, of that all-gas, no-break mentality that Robert Saleh wants to instill. So for anyone to say that, oh, no, they went up to number 3 because Joe Douglas told the Niners they're not taking Zach Wilson. Okay, well, that's why why would he waste his time being at that Pro Day then, if that was the case? If he knew that deal went through with the 49ers, why would he even be there in the first place? Why would he waste his time? Why would he go out of his way when he could have been at Michigan's Pro Day, right? Or some of these other Pro Days that were going on yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it just makes zero sense for somebody to take the time out of their busy schedule during the combine when there is no combine, only pro days, and there's more traveling involved, and you have to set your scouts and rely on their numbers, unofficial times, because at the end of the day, again, there is no combine, so everything is more under the microscope, and he would waste that day going to BYU's pro day knowing that he's not going to go after Zach Wilson or strongly consider him. Get out of here. Like, Come on, actions speak louder than words. We all learned this when we were little. Talk is cheap, but actions speak louder than words. Break Davis from the Beast Family. Nobody knows for sure what we're doing. Hell, even if the front office might know what they're doing yet, the only thing for sure is they have a few quarterbacks they like and don't want another team to come up. I would be quick to say I have a strong feeling I know what they're doing. But thank you so much from the BEASTwriter family. And getting back to your analysis, I would be quick to also say that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan would like Zach Wilson. Dante Perez, please don't trade the Beast Warner. He's a key of the defense. Yes, he is. Dante Perez from Facebook. Fred Warner is not going to be moved. Break Davis, insider news. This is the NFL insider right here. He says Fred Warner is not going to be moved. It's a guaranteed, according to Break Davis. I would disagree. Obviously, this is a joke. There's a reason why Fred Warner's dad is chiming into my YouTube. Read the comments on that. And if anyone knows better than anyone, I think it would be his dad. Just saying. And he agrees with me. Says I'm spot on. Horatio says, very true. Yes. Milo from the BEASTwriter family. Does Wilson start right away if we do get him? If not, who will be starting this year while Wilson's getting ready if Jimmy goes to the Patriots? No. And answering your question, I already answered that earlier. I think they're going to sit Wilson or whoever is behind center because they need Jimmy G. Garoppolo. They need Jimmy G. Garoppolo. They need Jimmy Garoppolo as the scapegoat. Hey, if he struggles, pull the plug, man. He's done. He's garbage. He's over with. If he gets hurt, pull the plug, man. He's out for the year. Good. We got Zach Wilson. This is why we got him. If he goes 6-3, one more year. Oh, we really liked him. That's what we said. One more year. Kyle Shanahan, 1 more year with his hat on, his low profile. 1 more year. Come on, bro. They just don't want to burn that bridge because at the end of the day, they know they can win with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just a matter of if he can stay healthy. And that's a big question mark. It's a big question mark. Let's keep it 100. Right? Levi from the BEASTwriter. Let's keep it 100. Jeffrey Van Vraken from Facebook. That would be dumb to trade for Warner. It definitely would be dumb. It would be an awful move. Again, if I was the GM, I wouldn't do it. But it does make sense, doesn't it? It does make sense. Tristan Coleman from Facebook says, I'll bet money Warner won't get traded. They'll wait until the summer or after the draft to extend him. Why would they do that? And again, Tristan, I know you're on Facebook, but you really got to follow me on YouTube, buddy. You're missing a lot of connection to the dots here. I broke it down brick by brick with my analysis as to why you don't want to do that. Just go back to the 2018 draft class. There's more to that. That's just one parameter of one of my podcasts as it relates to your question. So go ahead and see that and then get back to me with your thoughts on that. There's a lot of guys coming up like inside linebacker Roquan Smith from the Chicago Bears, who was drafted number 8 overall, just one pick before right tackle Mike McGlinchey. He was playing at a first-team all-pro level. He's due a front-loaded deal. You also have Buffalo Bills inside linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who's due a front-loaded deal. And you also have another third-round pick in Darius Leonard with GM Chris Ballard in the Indianapolis Colts system. He's due a front-load deal, who is also a first-team all-pro. So those guys are going to help reset the market. We all know what just happened in this past free agency period. Don't be surprised if those guys try to one-up each other, leaving Fred Warner in a tough situation where he's going to have to outbid those guys. And that's why it's better to sign him now rather than later. Again, do yourself a favor, man, and follow me on my YouTube. That way you'll be in there for our BEASTwriter family giveaways as well. And you would know what's going on. So you'll be in the know before they know. That's why people on the YouTube BEASTwriter family, they already know what's going on. This is old news. This is old news for them. Joe Greco says, you have no idea what you're talking about, Sacco. Okay, so Joe Greco says, again, he's on Facebook. So we have another Facebook guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. Again, if I don't know what I'm talking about, how come Fred Warner's dad is saying I'm spot on? Oh, maybe because you're not part of the BEASTwriter family, bro. Maybe you don't have a YouTube account. Get yourself a YouTube. Read the comments. There's a reason why he follows me. The reason I broke news, the same thing was said on November 3rd when I broke news that he would do a front-loaded deal. What did people say? You don't know what you're talking about. Here we are today. People said that, oh, the Dolphins aren't going to trade the number 3 overall pick. They have multiple first-round picks. Why would they do that? What happened? Oh, they just traded the number 3 overall pick. Come on, bro. Come on, bring it. Bring it. Check the YouTube receipts, bro. Camlet's red and gold from the BEASTwriter family. Niners need to send a case of turtle wax for Salah's bald head and the Fox's hammies. Hey, I could use that too. Why don't you say, I need that too. Me and Salah can be buddies, and we can use that together. All right, let's go ahead and talk to Andy Lopez from Facebook. Might get a cornerback from Alabama. Not at number 3, my friend. Not at number 3. That's too high. They could have possibly even made a play for him at number 12. However, I believe the Dallas Cowboys are going to make a play for Patrick Surtain at number 10. They did it picking Morris Claiborne at number 5. They also did it in the first round with Byron Jones. That seems to be their MO when it comes to Jerry Jones, and doing little to nothing in free agency when it comes to finding the boundary cornerback. And he likes to double dip and pick one up in the upcoming draft. So I don't see that playing out, but I do love Patrick Surtain. He's my CB1. Levi G from the BEASTwriter family said they would be fools to trade Warner just to move up one spot. Well, Joe Greco says, oh my God, you're so delusional. Well, check the YouTube receipts. Am I? And yet you're the one following me, not the other way around. So why are you tuning in and trying to throw shade when you're the one that's chiming in here? Obviously, if you thought I was delusional, you wouldn't be on this in the first place, right? Let's just keep it 100. Just keep it 100, man. Like, if you're going to try to call me out, that's fine, but back it up with facts. What are you talking about? Again, you're the one following me on my channel, watching my stream, not the other way around. So let's not get it twisted. Real talk. BEASTwriter approved. Next. Matthew Perlman. I like $25 million for Jimmy G to be a bridge for Lance to develop. That could be. That could be. Absolutely. And the funny thing about this whole thing here is Tristan Coleman says, LOL at this. I'm subscribing. I'm going to put this up here, and here's why. Because people who don't know, don't know. And people that want me to say and take a homer stance, that's not how we do things here in the BEASTwriter family. I always keep it 100. You guys know that. So go ahead and unsubscribe. Don't worry. I'll pick up 20 more tomorrow. Actually, today, probably after this. It's all good. So if you want a homer stance, go to 49ers.com. You'll get that there. If you want a homer stance, go follow someone that has no substance in their reporting and can't have the outside the box thinking to where everything makes sense. Go ahead and follow them. See what they had to say in real time. Anybody can report regurgitated news and recycled news. What's the point of that? I like putting myself out there, and because I'm not afraid to put it out there, because more times than not, I'm right. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. But all I'm saying is, let's look at the facts, and let's look at my YouTube and Twitter receipts, and then put it in perspective as to why it may happen. But go ahead and unsubscribe. You're good. I mean, I know you're a diehard Niner fan, and obviously, you saying LOL, and then you have to shake in my head. Again, you're the one following me, not the other way around. James Jaime from Facebook. Just check this show on the other day. I appreciate your content, bro. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the love from Facebook. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to my channel, and you'll be entered for this BEASTwriter family giveaway, which we're giving away today. We already selected a winner here, but I have 2 of these that I'm giving out. This will be another one giving out next week. It is a farewell to Candlestick Flag. Sanjo sent from the BEASTwriter family. I don't think they are moving up to 2, bro. I believe they are taking Wilson if he falls, if not Lance or Fields. Yeah. I'm not saying this is not a guaranteed. I'd say they could potentially move. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying don't be surprised if it does. Now, obviously, it takes 2 to tango. And if GM Joe Douglas doesn't want to move up that spot, or he wants more than what they're asking for, what they're willing to give up, of course, they're going to just take the best quarterback available. That's already a given. There's no thinking involved there. Obviously, they're going to take a quarterback at 3 if they stay pat. That's already given. There is no, I mean, you'd have to be a fool to think that they do otherwise. And anybody who says that they would be going in any other direction, unfollow them. That's just fool's gold. True story. All right. Break Davis says, if you talk enough, you're going to be right sometimes. That doesn't make you a prophet. That makes you a fool. Okay. Interesting, Break Davis. And again, you're the one on my channel. Go ahead and check my YouTube receipts, and then you will see why. I talk a lot, and I'm right a lot. There's a reason why Javon Kinlaw comes at me and calls me his biggest inspiration. There's a reason why Eric Armstead personally attacks me, because there's some truth there in my reporting, breaking down his analysis. You want to talk game? Let's talk game. Go check my YouTube and Twitter receipts, and you tell me where I was wrong. Do it. Because I can tell you, I probably have a 75% success rate in my spot-on predictions and analysis. You're probably new to following me, so you don't know. But, hey, that's all good. I'm just going to break it down Beastwriter style. You feel me? Next, Walter Lasky. So you're privileged and you're in the know, huh? We're just dumb for an advantage. I've been watching this team for 30 plus years. Sorry. Just because, yes, actually, I'm not saying privileged, but hey, were you in the NFL media? Were you in that locker room? Do you know people's families? Do you know people inside the scouting department? Do you know people from around the NFL circles? Are you a member of the Pro Football Writers Association? Do you know? So for you to say that, I'm not saying you're dumb. I never said those words. But again, you're on Facebook. So what do you know? Again, if you're not following me on YouTube, hey, truth be told, if you're not following me on YouTube, how can you have this saying I'm saying 49er fans are dumb? Beastwriter Family is all about good vibes only. In fact, I'm about 30 years. I've been 30 plus years. I'm 37 years old. I know I don't look it because I work out, but hey, I'm 37 years old and I've been watching the 49ers. In fact, did you know, you want to put things in perspective? You know that 49ers players were babysitting me since the age of 4, right? From 4 to 8, 49ers players were watching me. So I'm very fine and tuned with the San Francisco 49ers. Let's not get it twisted, bro. But if you want to talk background, we can talk background, bro. Let's go. I'm down. Let's go. Don Joe Mo, agreed. We'll need another backup quarterback. Anthony Yanez from the Beastwriter Family. So Zach Wilson to the 49ers. Yes, I think that could be the play. And again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but at the end of the day, it does make sense, right? You guys want to peel back layers of the onion to get to the core. Again, let's go ahead and talk about what the Jets' needs are. Why would GM Joe Douglas make this move? Why? Well, again, CJ Mosley is tradable asset. They're looking to trade him off the move. Why? Because he is better fit for a 34 base defense in the 4-3 front. Furthermore, GM Joe Douglas doesn't want to take on that contract anymore. And by simply releasing him, they would be doing themselves a disservice because it'd be a $12.5 million cap hit. By trading him, you at least can save the team $1.5 million in cap savings or $6 million in cap savings as a post-June 1 trade. What do they need? Every need you can think of off the board. That's what they need. And again, you want to talk analytics? Let's talk analytics. Dante Perez, who you got? Who should you take, big dogs? Just please don't trade Warner. Yeah, absolutely. Carmelo's red and gold. I get that Fred's dad is looking out for his son, but dude needs to stay out of his business between the Niners and his son. He needs to let his son handle his own affairs like a man. Good point. Good point. But then again, it's almost like your family members are always going to look out for your best interest. So unless you're in that situation, it's hard for you to say that coming from a perspective of a father or a role model who is in your son's life, who is an NFL player and been in his life throughout his whole entire career. And when it comes to a financial situation to where he is due a second contract, which in most NFL cases, you don't get that second contract because the NFL lifespan is only 3 to 5 years at best. I would say it's probably 2 to 3. But with that being said, of course, the parents are going to be involved. It'd be fool's gold not to think that. So whether or not he's a man or not a man, his father is just voicing his opinion. Just like when Pat Mahomes got knocked out by the Cleveland Browns linebacker, Mac Brown, and she went on Twitter and said, oh, that was, she was all upset about it. And then she calmed down and retracted her statements. It's okay. I mean, that's just human nature. I mean, as parents, we always want the best for our kids. So let's put things in perspective. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Joe Padilla from the Beastwriter Family. If Warner goes, do you think the Niners would be open to bringing back Quan back at a discount? No, I do not. I do not, because Quan Alexander is an outside linebacker. He wouldn't be a strong fit as a middle linebacker, in my opinion. Plus, you double down on that with the ACL injuries he's had. He is just too many red flags, too high risk. I would not bring back Quan Alexander. I like the guy when he's healthy, but at the end of the day, he struggles in pass coverage. We've seen it toward the end of last year, or not the end of last year, but toward the end of his playing days in San Francisco last year. In my grading system, I can bust out the numbers snap by snap on that, play by play, if you guys want that. I can do another podcast on that. But no, simply put, no. Fred Sr. acting like a LeVar Ball all up in his son's business. I wouldn't go that far. Jeremy and Trash Aponte, man, I don't want him to leave. Yeah, me neither. I don't want him to leave either. Brandon Green, I think it'll take less than Warner to get up to the second pick. Ooh. Okay, so if you think it's going to take less to get up to the second pick, what do you think it's going to take? What do you think it's going to take? Interesting. Fred Warner chiming in. As much as I love Wilson, I think what's going to happen is they're going to draft Justin Fields. Garoppolo to the Patriots will add more space to sign Fred. Interesting, yes. And interesting point you put out, because as you know, I said that Garoppolo to the Patriots is going to happen. Everyone's saying, no, it's not going to happen. Wilson going to happen? Yes. I think Wilson is going to go to the Jets, because obviously they wouldn't be at BYU's Pro Day, but you and I both know that he hasn't been going to have a contract extension, and the question is why. It's interesting. This is very interesting. I think if the Niners don't move off their spot and the Jets don't trade, they stay pat. They're like, you know what? Okay, we're just going to stay pat here. I think the play is they're going to go after Zach Wilson at 2, and Justin Fields is going to be the answer at number 3, like I said earlier. So I'm in line with your thinking here. What I will say, though, is Robert Saleh really loves Fred Warner, and he needs a middle linebacker. He needs a linebacker, my man. And I'm not saying for this to happen. I don't want it to happen. You know, I'm Fred Warner's biggest supporter. But if you connect the dots and you look at the salary cap space that the Jets have and GM Joe Douglas's MO and the way he likes to do it and his tendencies and his biases and how they're moving on from CJ Mosley, who is their only Pro Bowl linebacker who opted out in 2020 as trade bait, could they make a play for him? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But time will tell, my man. Time will tell. Williams Irvs, Dante Perez, I would say at 3, get Fields, do something soon. Don't pick Wilson. We'll get Wilson at 3. Ooh. Okay. Maffey from Twitter, I would hate to see Fred Warner go, but you've been right about everything else. So who are replacement? Again, thank you so much for your love and support on Twitter. Be sure to get a BEASTwriter Family account here on YouTube. But getting back to your question, I will say this. I'm not saying Fred Warner is going to be traded to the New York Jets. I'm not saying it's a done deal like, oh, watch it happen. I'm saying let's connect the dots. And if it does happen, do not be shocked, because I am pointing out every single reason and covering every angle as to why it makes sense for all parties involved, not just the 49ers, but the New York Jets. And if they were to move up to number 2 for the number 2 overall pick with the New York Jets, they cannot leverage this trade by mortgaging their future with draft capital, because they already gave up 3 first-round picks just to move up from 12 to 3 with the Miami Dolphins. So if you're looking at this and you don't hold draft capital and you're GM Joe Douglas, you're going to want a star player in return, which I said in an earlier podcast on why Fred Warner to the Jets or the Dolphins makes perfect logical sense. Plus, if you look at this draft class, and if you're GM Joe Douglas, you're looking at this draft class at the middle inside linebacker position, and you're saying this draft class is garbage. It sucks. Nick Bolton, a first-round pick, really? He wouldn't be a first-round pick player in any other given draft. So let's be real about one thing. You need to look at things from a GM's perspective and see things for what it's worth. And if you don't see things for what it's worth, and if you don't know how to evaluate player, how to evaluate talent, you're going to be lost, and you're going to be in the know, and you're just going to go off the narrative of what other people are pushing. But that's why I am here. I am trying to explain to you guys why it makes sense. And the people in the BEASTwriter family know that I make sense. And this all makes sense. I've been saying this since day one. Who said that, DeForest Buckner, what happened to him was a bad deal? Everyone would say, oh, Javon Kinlaw is going to be a beast. Even before Javon Kinlaw was drafted by the 49ers, I said he might be a proverbial boom or bust player. Why? Because of his lack of pass rush. What did we witness? His lack of pass rush. What did we see? His Pro Bowl potential. What I'd say we see in his pre-draft analysis, his Pro Bowl potential. Anyways, but getting back to your question, I don't think anybody can replace Fred Warner. And here's Fred Warner says, but only time will tell. Yeah, time will tell, man. Again, this is what I'm saying, bro. Like, all I'm saying, and you agree with me, man, right? You agree with me. Thank you for the love and support, by the way, dropping those comments. I don't want your son to leave San Francisco. You know how I feel about that. I'm not saying this trade is going to happen, but don't be surprised if it does. Because you and I both know where this is going. And the fact that Fred Warner has not been extended in a 2018 draft class that's going to help reset the market with an increased salary cap due to the TV deals that are coming up, it's going to get interesting and it's going to get shaky and it could get rocky, because if Zach Wilson is the quarterback, or whoever the quarterback is at 3, you're going to have to look at the 3 to 5 year outlook, because that player, whoever that quarterback is, if he turns out to be a franchise quarterback and top 10 quarterback or even top 5 quarterback, who's going to be the higher priority here? And then you have Nick Bosa coming up, who's an edge rusher. There's a lot of things that can happen, and there's only so much money to go around. Plus, they just inked Trent Williams as the highest paid offensive tackle or offensive lineman in NFL history. So a lot of this money, you can restructure, you can backload it however you want it, but at some point, you're going to have to pony up and pay top dollar for these players. And let's not get on Kyle Juszczyk. I love the guy, like the signing, but did they overpay? Probably. And then let's peel back another layer of the onion. Let's look at all the 1-year contract they signed. K'Waun Williams, Jason Verrett. They're going to test free agency next year. And then Alex Max is coming out. He signed a 3-year contract, so which is a good signing there. So if we're talking free agents specifically, let's go ahead and just take it for what it's worth. There's only so much money to go around, and you can't keep everyone. You can't keep everyone. All right, 2007 Magoo says, hope not. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Fred Warner says, but let's not get it twisted. I want my son to be a Niner for a very long time, but we all know this is a business. The draft will be very interesting. Exactly. And this is where I'm going with my man, because let's not get it twisted. I just said this, right? So we know where this is going with. Again, me and you don't want your son out in San Francisco. That's why it's my job to put the pressure on the 49ers to get this deal done. I'm putting pressure on the 49ers GM John Lynch to go ahead and say, you know what? Why don't you just go on air, go on KMBR flagship station, and shut BEASTwriter up and let him know, hey, we're not trading Fred Warner. We're going to look to extend him. We're doing it. He can say we're in contract negotiations, but at the end of the day, I'll still be talking, because at the end of the day, what? Money talks, and we all know what walks. Your son needs to be extended. Absolutely. He's my favorite player. People want to know who my favorite player is. Fred Warner. Hands down. Fred Warner and George Kittle, my favorite players. So with that being said, you cannot not extend a guy like Fred Warner. But at the same time, the same was said about DeForest Buckner. What did they say about DeForest Buckner? We love him. He's a foundational core player. He's the engine to our defense. He makes us go. He's a team captain, great in the community. And then what happened? He wanted $20 million. And then what happened? GM Chris Ballard calls and says, hey, is DeForest Buckner on the trading block? Sure. What do you want from him? I want the 13th or 14th overall pick. Sure. Done deal. Let's get it done. Boom. 13th over or whatever. 13th overall pick. Get it done. Get it done. Maffy43. How can I get BEASTwriter merch? Need some hard hat stickers and t-shirts. It's coming, bro. I'm telling you again, this is the BEASTwriter Family logo. I'm going to swap this out. We're going to do some family giveaways with that. So stay tuned for that. It's coming. Bree from Twitter says, I'll be so upset if we lose Warner. Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Get some of your questions. Dante Perez from Facebook. I just hope whoever they get is good because I think that dumb move that they got Kinlaw was lame. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Dante Perez says, but Lynch and Shanahan also a little dumb. That's funny. I'm laughing because Niner fans need to put things in perspective. Like, John Lynch should be on the hot seat for a reason. John Lynch should definitely be on the hot seat for a reason, and it's gonna be interesting. Alejandro Malanchi says they're going to trade with the Jets with the third pick and their 2021 third round pick and 2022 third round pick. Interesting. Thank you so much from the BEASTwriter family, and again, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate your generosity, and it's all good vibes only here in the BEASTwriter family. So again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, let's get back to your questions. Tony Ving, if they trade Warner and the number 3 for Jets number 2 to get Zach Wilson, I'll be really pissed. It's risky, in my opinion. Very risky. It's a very risky move. It's a very risky move, but at the end of the day, we're not the ones making this deal, are we? We're just talking about it. We're just having a discussion at the bar right now. This is like a bar discussion. Watching ESPN on TV as we discuss this breakdown and why it makes sense and why it potentially could happen. Because let's face it, you guys all wouldn't be here if it didn't make sense. If it was simply clickbait and if there was no validity in my reporting based on my credibility and my spot-on prediction analysis, you guys wouldn't be tuning in right now at 11:49 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but you are. Because it makes sense, and we all know where this is going. And that's why Fred Warner's dad was in here chiming in and watching this. Because he, if you read his comments, he's one of my biggest supporters, says I'm spot on. But again, me and Fred Warner's dad does not want Fred out of San Francisco. We want to keep him here in San Francisco. It's my job to put pressure on the San Francisco 49ers to say, hey, resign this guy. Get it done. Get it done. All right. David Velez, thank you so much for your generosity, part of the BEASTwriter family, and for the super chat. For people who are wondering what a super chat is, this is a super chat. It's a highlighted comment or question. And yeah, thank you so much. So if you want to send a super chat, this is how you do it. I think there's a dollar icon or something. So if you love the work, like the channel, like the BEASTwriter movement we're striving to build, go ahead and consider sending me a super chat. It's just another fun way for me to engage with you. David Velez, thank you so much. He asks, which quarterback do you think is better able to stand and deliver the deep ball outside the numbers? Wilson or Fields, whoever he is, that's who Shanahan gets no matter the cost. If FW has to go, so if Fred Warner has to go, so be it. Outside, I'm going to say Zach Wilson. I just like Zach Wilson's movement skills. I think he can extend plays with his legs. Outside the numbers, I think he'll do a good job. And whatever he lacks there, because I do see some inaccuracy throwing outside the numbers, I think that can be coached up with a guy like Kyle Shanahan. So thank you so much for your generosity. I really appreciate it. A lot of good stuff coming in here, guys. A lot of good stuff. All right, let's go ahead. Bay Gibson says, why would they trade Warner when they can why would they trade Warner when they can afford them, especially with a rookie coming in at quarterback? When they could afford what? Thank you so much for your question. I don't understand that question. When they could afford them. R. Sandiford 33 from the BEASTwriter family. As a fan, let's hope to keep Fred and get Zach, but I believe in your work on here. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. And again, if you're in the BEASTwriter family, you guys already know where this is going. You guys know where this could go, potentially could go. Again, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I'm saying it definitely could happen. And I've been saying this since day one. During the year, I said Fred Warner could get traded because he could be in a contract snag to where John Lynch doesn't want to fork out $18 to $20 million and give him $40, $50, $60 million guaranteed in a front-loaded deal because he's already $34 million overdue for outplaying Bobby Wagner in my grading system as a first-team All-Pro for the better half of the last 2 years, who's getting paid $18 million per year, and Fred Warner is getting paid less than $1 million per year. So if you take the difference, that's 17 million times 2, that's $34 million. You do the math. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Breen at 693 says, I absolutely love how Fred Warner Sr. is picking up for himself and his son. That's what parents do. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And anybody who thinks differently, again, any parent who has their kids' best interest at heart is always going to look out for their kids, no matter how old they are. That's just how it is. And that's why Fred Warner's dad comes in and follows me and says, you're spot on with your stuff. Keep up the great work, brother. Because we know. And if anyone knows anything, it's his dad. Duh. So if for 49 fans to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, his dad says I do. Come on, bro. And plus, even if that wasn't the case and Fred Warner Sr. wasn't in here, I still know what I'm talking about because my Twitter and YouTube receipts check out. Who else put out that the Miami Dolphins would trade the number 3 overall pick, even though they had 2 multiple first-round picks already? I did. David Rodriguez, I'm just saying credibility is based on making spot-on predictions and analysis. That's what you're going to get here in the BEASTwriter family. If you want a homer take, no offense, if that's your cup of tea, that's fine. Just go follow 49ers.com or go follow some of these other websites who take homer takes, which is basically the rest, aside from a few others. But if that's what you want, you just want feel-good stories, you're not going to find that here. That's not how I do it. That's not how I ever did it. Even when I was a fan before covering the team, I never took a homer stance. I never said, oh, the Niners are going to go 16-0 and go to the Super Bowl every single year. Being faithful is one thing, but being a realist is another. So let's keep things 100 here. David Rodriguez from the BEASTwriter family. If they can trade Jimmy G, they can keep Fred Warner. But if they don't trade Jimmy G, it will be hard to keep Fred Warner. Yes, absolutely. And I did a podcast on this during the year. Funny how everybody in the BEASTwriter family knows exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, if you guys want to check that podcast, shoot, I'll put it up here. I'll put it up for you right now. All you got to do is just put Jimmy Garoppolo, Fred Warner. There. And you will see my analysis on how Jimmy Garoppolo's future impacts Fred Warner's future. And look at that timestamp when I said that. So again, people who aren't on YouTube and don't follow the BEASTwriter family or are not in the BEASTwriter family, they really don't know. That's why I say subscribe to my channel so when you chime in, you won't be lost. Because a lot of these people on Facebook, on Twitter, you guys are lost. Lost. But the people in the BEASTwriter family know what's up. Like my man JP, Arizona Cardinals fan. Again, this is not Niner fans. We have fans from all different fan bases. It's all about good vibes only here. Yup, exactly, Brenda. I don't understand why the Niners haven't had an extension talks with Warner. Exactly. And my man JP, he knows his stuff, and he keeps things 100. JP is an Arizona Cardinals fan, but always keeps it 100. Always. What's up, JP? How you doing? Jason Ellsworth, my man from the BEASTwriter family. Don't let these trolls get in your head. You're awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it. And these people troll for a reason. I was talking to my friend yesterday about this, and he says, dude, your live stream's going well. You have freaking family members chiming in. You have the players who have like secret accounts following you. I knew that was going on, but it's funny how I put 2 and 2 together. They're actually on here right now. And they're saying, you're doing a good job. But then he also said, dude, watch out for these trolls that are going to come out because they always come out the woodworks. You know how this goes. And it's probably going to be from Facebook and Twitter. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right because you're not going to get that in YouTube. It's just a different demographic. So again, YouTube, BEASTwriter family is all about good vibes only. Thank you so much, Jason Ellsworth. I appreciate the love and support. It's just interesting because here I am. If you're going to challenge my credibility, like I'm all about them good vibes only. I am. I don't want bad vibes. We're all about good vibes only. But if you challenge my credibility, just be ready for the backlash that's about to come. Because again, credibility comes down to being right. And if you're going to challenge me on some analysis and predictions that I put on that were correct, which majority of them are, not all the time because I'm not God, but no one is, then yes, I'm gonna spit back with fire. That's all I gotta say about that. All right. So thank you so much for our bud 7373. I appreciate the love, bro. You are awesome. All right, Aaron Benton, let's go ahead and talk about what you have to say. What if we trade Fred for the number 2 pick and then trade number 1 and 2 pick to the Jags for Trevor Lawrence? Well, you can't trade the number 1 and number 2 pick. Oh, you mean the first and second round pick to the Jags for Trevor Lawrence? Nah, that's not happening, bro. I heard I know coaches on that Jacksonville coaching staff and their family members, and I'm pretty sure they're stuck with Trevor Lawrence. And knowing Balky personally, yeah, he's not moving from number 1. He's staying at number 1. You can I'll take that to the bank that he's not moving off number 1 and taking Trevor Lawrence. Now watch him go ahead and take Zach Wilson. Oh, BEASTwriter said, oh, he's finally wrong. Let's get him. Salzburg's SF 49ers fan. Hello from Austria. 49ers fan for like, hey, what's going on from Austria? We have people from Austria, Iceland, Greenland. Where else? Switzerland. All you guys are like from all over. Germany. I had a fan from Germany the other day. That was pretty interesting. Project Max and the BEASTwriter Family. What are y'all hating on Ryan? He's just voicing his predictions just like everyone here is doing by saying Niners ain't trading Fred. Hey, man, let them talk. Let them talk, man. Let them hate. Let them hate. They don't know. They're on Facebook. We can always pick up Troy Warner later. True. Tobias England from the BEASTwriter Family. Love your show. Is it possible Justin Fields is the number 1 target? I think he has attended some Shanahan quarterback camps. Yes, everyone's talking about the Shanahan quarterback camps. But, I mean, they could select Justin Fields, but let's be honest about it. Who is a better fit? I said yesterday in my live stream that Zach Wilson was a better fit. Why? Because if you look what Mike Shanahan did in the early days of the 90s when he had Brent Jones, William Floyd, Ricky Waters, Bart Oates, Jesse Sapolo, Guy McIntyre, John Taylor, Jerry Rice. List goes on and on and on. What did he like to do with Steve Young? He liked to run naked bootlegs. Naked bootlegs. So the guy on Facebook who said, oh, what do you know? I've been a fan of 30 plus years. Well, hey, my family had front row season tickets on the 20-yard line in section 14, lower box A, seats 1 and 2 since 1991. So if you want to talk football and try to call me out, here we go. And to make matters in Zach Wilson's favor even more so, he likes to run naked bootlegs, and you can do that. And Kyle Shanahan can see the same dynamic that Steve Young brought, who ironically came out of BYU, and you can see the similarities in their game where you can check it deep downfield and he can throw on the run. That's one thing that Zach Wilson does extremely well and with accuracy is throwing outside the pocket on naked. You can see him run naked bootlegs and throwing on the run. I like how he throws off platform, but more importantly, I like how he's accurate with the ball on the short to intermediate and third levels of the field. Very, very accurate. Very, very accurate. All right. Jerry Yang. Thank you, Salzburg, SF 49ers fan. I appreciate the love and support, my man. From the BEASTwriter family. Jerry Yang says, welcome back, Sanu. Welcome back, Sanu. Welcome back, Sanu. Oh, the 49ers done getting wide receivers. Oh, they got Mohamed Sanu, I guess. I didn't know that. I'm doing a live stream. I don't like that move. But are the 49ers done getting wide receivers? Probably not. They're probably going to add somebody because Kyle Shanahan loves wide receivers. He's an offensive guy. I would want a wide receiver. Wouldn't you want a wide receiver? I would want a wide receiver. All right, let's go ahead and get to your question. Ashford Turbo. I don't think Jimmy is a scapegoat. He's gone. Besides, John Lynch said there's a lot of teams that are inquiring about Garoppolo. Well, John Lynch also says a lot of things that he loved DeForest Buckner, and he traded it, but to New Indianapolis, unfortunately. So I don't believe anything that John Lynch says. I take everything with a grain of salt. So he could be using this as a huge smokescreen. Again, I'm telling you guys, do not listen to everything that John Lynch says or that Kyle Shanahan says. Kyle Shanahan called Eric Armstead one of the best run defenders in the NFL. Excuse me, for the second year in a row in my grading system, he ranked dead last in stopping the run with missed assignments. And PFF, if you guys all like PFF, which I don't, but even they graded Eric Armstead not so favorably against the run. Forget about the pass. We all know that he's not a pass rusher. He needs He's only a pass rusher and didn't Stubblefield 2.0 when he has Nick Bosa or DeForest Buckner there. So he could lead the league in sacks this year, which is good news for 49ers fans because Nick Bosa is healthy. Dan Angodi from BEASTwriter Family. Has anyone ever heard the phrase, don't shoot the messenger? I don't like what I'm hearing either. I want Warner to stay too. Ryan is just telling us what he thinks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it's interesting how people try to call me out, but then when I spit back facts, they're nowhere to be found. Like, I don't see them in the comments here anymore. They kind of just disappeared. They legit just disappeared. So after I put it back on them saying, okay, so why do you think that? They just disappear. They have nothing to say, man. They're just hating, bro. They're just hating. When they have nothing to say, they're just gonna be like, like, oh my god, yeah, because you had nothing to say, bro. James Jaime. All right, broski. Now I'm on YouTube. That's what's going on, bro. I see you. Thank you for the love and welcome to the BEASTwriter family where social media engagement is encouraged. Jay Mouse, no way the 49ers trade Fred Warner. I wouldn't say no way. We all said the same thing about DeForest Buckner. Scott Alexander, with Garoppolo hopefully traded, will Rosen start the season as quarterback? Brandon Green from the BEASTwriter family, maybe a second and a third, maybe 2/3. Ugh. For Fred Warner, to move up number 2, you're going to take more than that, man. But thank you so much for your analysis. I just think it's going to be a little bit more than that. Salzburg SF 49ers fans. I think Niners will trade Fred for number 2 pick. Interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised. Again, the Niners don't have draft flexibility to mortgage their future with draft capital to move up from 3 to 2. What they do have is a middle linebacker to where the Jets also need a middle linebacker to solidify that all gas, no break mentality and team cultural identity that Robert Saleh wants to instill, transitioning from a 34 base defense to a 4-3 front. In fact, I talked to one coach who was on the New York Jets staff last year and told me that CJ Mosley is definitely a 34 base linebacker, not best suited for a 4-3 front. And why is CJ Mosley on the trading block? Interesting. Let's connect the dots here. Mello from the BEASTwriter family. If Aaron Rodgers forces the issue to be traded this year, would he be a good target to pick up at Gibson Zachwin? I would love Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson. Wouldn't that be a match made in heaven? Aaron Rodgers playing for the team that he grew up loving here in the local Bay Area. That would be an awesome story. Fred Warner says, why can't someone voice their predictions and analysis without being hate on? Come on now. We better than that. Ryan obviously has been doing his homework. There you go. From Fred Warner himself. Fred Warner Sr. himself is showing me love. And again, thank you so much. I will say this. People who don't know Fred, they don't know. And they like to come at me sideways because they really don't know. And when I put it back on them, they're nowhere to be found. Like, they're not even in the chat anymore. They left. They're gone. They're gone with the wind because when they have nothing to say and they don't have a comeback and they lost the argument, it is what it is. And like I said, like, it's all about good vibes only. But when you try to attack me or challenge my credibility or name calling or bullying or whatever the case may be, hey, just be ready. Just be ready for whatever is about to come. And I'm going to spit back with facts in a professional manner. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know what's going on here, as well as everyone in the BEASTwriter family. Obviously, you're part of the BEASTwriter family. I said that since day one. You're one of my biggest supporters, bro. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on here. And everything is just coming into perspective here. And again, I'm not saying Fred Warner is going to be traded. I'm not saying it's going to happen like it's a guarantee. I'm not one of those guys who says, oh, the Matthew Stafford deal is a done deal. 2 second-round picks and blah, blah, blah. No. Did I say that? Did I actually break down that? Did I say, oh, it's actually no? But what I'm saying is, don't be surprised if it does. And you'll be in the know before they know, because that's why you follow me here in the BEASTwriter family. And that's why the BEASTwriter family here is so strong. Because again, I like to put myself out there with my spot on predictions and analysis. If I get it wrong, so be it. people get it wrong. If you're more right than wrong, you're going to gain followers no matter what team you cover, because I cover all 32. And this is why I like connecting the dots. And this is why I cover all 32, is because for me to put this out here, just like I put out that trade that the Miami Dolphins were going to trade number 3, and they did after releasing Kyle Benoit. Why? Go ahead and check out that podcast. But Joe Douglas's MO coming from the Baltimore Ravens is not to show his cards. He likes his defensive front 7 players. And Robert Saleh loves your son. Absolutely. Undoubtedly, unequivocally. He loves your son. So could he be like, hey, if there's one move I want to make, I want to get Fred Warner. I want to get Fred Warner. I need him. I don't care about CJ Mosley. Let's get him out of here. But thank you so much. Appreciate the love, man. Ken Mueller from the BEASTwriter Family. Would the 49ers really give up this much to draft Mac Jones at 3? Exactly. And this is another reason why I want to point out. Ken Mueller, great question. No. Or yes. Maybe. Possibly. We don't know which quarterback they're targeting, but what we do know is they're going to draft a quarterback at 3 if they can't make a trade for number 2 for Zach Wilson. If this were to take place, yes, I do believe, because again, I cover all 32 teams. I think a tradable spot would be, if you're looking at the current draft position, is the trade that the Miami Dolphins did with the 49ers, moving back from 3 to 12 and then moving back up to 6. GM Chris Greer knows if you cover all 32 NFL teams, and I know because I cover all 32, that number 6 is definitely a hot spot for a trade. Why? This is why you guys followed me. Well, Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1. Zach Wilson will probably go number 2, whether it's 49ers picking, Jets, doesn't matter. Justin Fields will probably go 3 to the 49ers if Zach Wilson stays at 2 with the Jets. Okay. At number 4, the Atlanta Falcons, what do they do? There's now questions about, do they move back? Do they stay off their spot? Do they select a guy, Mac Jones? I don't think so. I think they're going to go quarterback. Someone reported that the Falcons might likely leapfrog the San Francisco 49ers for that number 2 overall pick. Stay tuned for that, because again, a lot of these things now are shaking up to where these teams are moving all in for that one quarterback that they want. Not just, if there's 2 quarterbacks on the board, we're just going to take whoever's left over. No. These teams, you're seeing the trend now where these teams are actually moving up for a player that they want. If that player that the 49ers want is Mac Jones, why would you move up to number 3? Because in most mocks and people that I spoke with, Mac Jones would be there even in the 7 to 8 range. I think the Carolina Panthers would be in the Trey Lance, Mac Jones discussion. So you would kind of want to pick there as opposed to moving up to number 3. However, if they really like the player and that guy ends up being Mac Jones, surprisingly, that would be something that, 1, would shock everyone, but 2, would just go out and prove to the 49ers organization that GM John Lynch is on the hot seat because of the fact that he had to make a play for his chosen quarterback and be married to that quarterback. So if he falls, he's tied to that quarterback. Because let's face it, any GM that goes on his way out he does one move that's like, whoa, he just went all in. He gave up the farm for that. He's all in. John Lynch is all in this year. He could be on the way out because Adam Peters was just promoted to assistant GM for a reason. Just putting it out there. So it could happen. Alejandro Malanchi, thank you so much for the BEASTwriter family. I appreciate your generosity. Again, this is a super chat. Really appreciate the love, and thank you so much. So again, anybody who donates to the BEASTwriter family with a super chat, all proceeds get donated back into the BEASTwriter family. And what I mean by that is obviously we have cool stuff here. We have a logo. We're coming up with Teen Swag. We do our Family Friday giveaways, which I'm going to give out shortly. We are also doing a lot of things as opposed to getting better visual equipment, better audio, better software. I want to do game film breakdowns. We can now have call-ins to where you guys call in. So all this is, I'm not keeping a penny. Legit. I'm putting it back into you guys. So thank you so much for love and support. I appreciate it. He says they're going to trade with the Jets with a 3rd pick and their 2021 3rd pick and the 2022 3rd round pick. Interesting. Dan Angodi from the BEASTwriter Family. Warner is my favorite player. I truly hope he stays. Me too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fred Warner says, Ryan, you're doing a great job, man. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. And again, welcome to the BEASTwriter family, bro. You've been my biggest supporter since day one. When I started this, you were like my third subscriber. Legit. You were like number 3. The first 2 were like my family members. And so you're legit family, man. In the BEASTwriter family, it's all about good vibes only, man. And I really appreciate the love and support. Again, I'm putting this out there because they need to sign your son. They need to keep your son in San Francisco. It's my job to put this out there to put pressure on the 49ers organization. Parag Marate, my man, John Lynch, love the guy, but you guys have to get it done. Like, you have to go ahead and make these sound plays in re-signing Fred Warner, or someone else will. And why he is not signed yet is beyond me, because he's entering a contract year to where the 2018 draft class is going to help reset the market. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they can leverage negotiations, because he's already due a lot of front-loaded deal. And if he's playing on this, whatever it is, this base salary or whatever his 2021 cap number is, what, $3.4 million, $4 million, that's chump change compared to what he would get on the open market. So over the course of 4 years, he's vastly underpaid. So are they going to give him a even higher front-loaded deal? I don't know, man. But thank you so much for the love and support. Really appreciate it. Always honored to have you in our BEASTwriter family. Good vibes only. Good vibes only. All right. Justin Fontenot, what about Greenlaw and pick swaps to the Jets? Everyone's talking about Dre Greenlaw. I like Dre Greenlaw. I like Fred Warner. I wouldn't trade any of those picks. I wouldn't trade any of those guys. I don't know. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. We have a lot of stuff going on. I think I answered this question, David. Yeah, we already answered that one. Let's go ahead and move on. Oh, Jerry Yang says 49ers don't really have cap anymore. 20 million, 9 million for rookies. They just signed Sanu. Actually, it's probably less than 9 million for the rookies, Jerry, because they don't have that many draft picks. I think that number actually went down now. Also, they just signed Mohamed Sanu, Nathan Gary. They're not death piece players, but I think they're just more camp bodies. But interesting to point out, Jerry Yang, if you guys don't follow my man Jerry Yang, go ahead and follow him. Good stuff, great guy. They don't have much money to sign anyone, and he would be right. Thank you so much for tuning in, Jerry Yang. Happy to see you here. All right. Joe Padilla, do you think the 49ers didn't mind giving up their next 2 first-round draft picks? Instead, they could use the money to pay Warner or Bosa. What's your take? Yeah, absolutely. I think that could be a play for sure. Absolutely. That's a good way of looking at it. Joe Patia, you give great analysis here. Good job from the BEASTwriter family. Yes. Great point. Great point. Could they have done this deal knowing that, hey, we need to extend Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, so let's just give up our first round picks because we can't keep everyone. And if those guys pan out, we definitely can't keep everyone. So might as well just keep the guys that we have in-house. Very, very, very good take, Joe Batia. I like it. I like it. That's great analysis here in the BEASTwriter family. I like it. I like it a lot. Good job. Good job there. Good job. Good job. Good job. Dang. That's some spot on prediction. That's some spot on analysis right there, because that could be a play. Unfortunately, to play a little bit devil's advocate, actions speak louder than words. Something needs to happen now. David Velez. Oh, you already put that out there. Tony Vang, if they trade Warner and the number 3 for the Jet, number 2, yeah, I'll be really pissed. It's risky and public. Yes, a lot of this stuff is really, really ridiculous, I would say. A lot of this stuff is really ridiculous. Oh, here's one. Bay Gibson says, you swear you're everything. You don't even have a blue chip on your social media. Actually, I did. This is interesting. Yes, I'm glad you pointed this out. Thank you so much. So I actually am a verified account. What happened was I changed my Twitter name from BEASTwriter _ to BEASTwriter, and it prompted generational of badge removal. I am in the process of getting that back. So thank you for pointing that out. But again, you don't know. But yes, I am verified, actually. So thank you for that. I just changed my handle, making the mental rookie mistake of changing it from BEASTwriter _ to BEASTwriter. So I guess you're taking another L, bro. That's another L for you. Just saying. The AP King 408. They will trade the 3rd pick with Atlanta for a 1st this year and a 3rd next year. Interesting. Thank you so much for the love. This is not good. Bay Gibson says we are here because it's bored and it's a coronavirus outside of pandemic. Bay Gibson, you are probably one of the dumbest guys on here, because at the end of the day, one, that is such a troll statement to make, and you have nothing better to do than to troll other people's channels. Good for you. Good for you. That just goes to show that you have no life and you have nothing better to do but to go ahead and troll on someone else's channel. And let's not get it twisted. You're still on here because you like what I have to say. You're very persistent. I like it. I like it. Stay in here. Stay in here. Never waver. I like it. Douglas Maldonado from BEASTwriter Family. I would say at 3, stay at 3, and because the Jets ain't taking Wilson, I say call their bluff. Yeah, call their bluff. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And keep Warner. Tony Ving says from BEASTwriter, we all want Fred to stay. He's such an intelligent beast. Yep. Lunar Mystic says from BEASTwriter Family, if BEASTwriter says he's good, take him. Take him. There's a lot of stuff in here, man. I like this stuff. I like it. I like Ken Miller from BEASTwriter Family. Didn't the 49ers make an offer to the Jets before dealing with the Dolphins and they turned it down? Did they? I haven't heard it. What was that? What were the details on that? Jerry Yang, if the 49ers trade Warner and they bust on the draft pick, chased with another bad season, Lynch and maybe Kyle might be out of SF. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. James Jaime from the BEASTwriter Family says, I subscribe. This is awesome. I love how you engage with your family. You got a fan in here in me. Thank you so much for the love, man. And welcome to the BEASTwriter Family, bro. Honored to have you in here. And again, this is all about good vibes only. You know, this is all about good vibes only. Jonathan K28, my man from the BEASTwriter Family, says, the 49ers making this trade forces the Broncos and Panthers to trade up and leaving the Patriots up. Well, I can't cuss. Creek overpay for Jimmy. Jonathan K28, if you don't follow him, he brings great insights and analysis. He's like my Ian Rappaport. He always chimes in, keeping me updated. Hey, Jonathan K28, dude, send me the numbers on Mohamed Sanu or Jay Yang or JP, my man JP. If you guys are on here, Alex Faulkner, go ahead and send me that information. Michael McCann, if we stand at number 3 and take Fields, do you think the 49ers could snag a 2022 or 2023 first for rather than a 2nd this year? I don't understand the question, Michael McCann, but I think what you're trying to say is if you guys, meaning the 49ers, stay at number 3, could they get a 2022 or 2023 first round pick rather than a 2nd this year? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe you're going to double down on those games, because if you look at next year's draft class, again, if you're thinking like a GM, you have to think 2 steps ahead. What I like to do, and I'm just going to tell you a quick story. I even brought out Saquon Barkley before Saquon Barkley was big news. I actually talked to the 49ers scouts 2 years prior to him coming out, and I said, watch out for this guy. And they're like, what? I was like, dude, look up Saquon Barkley, bro. The guy's an animal. And they came back next practice, but bro, you should be a scout. I'm like, dude, this guy's the real deal. And he is. Guy's a beast. So looking at the 2-year outlook, I like next year's draft class as opposed to this one. This one's not the strongest. I would say the draft capital in next year's draft class is a lot more valuable, which is why I think GM Chris Greer won those blockbuster deals yesterday. Won it. Project Max from BEASTwriter Family. Who's your quarterback besides Wilson and Lawrence? Oh, I'm an Alabama Roll Tide fan, so I'm going to say Mac Jones. I love Mac Jones. I also like Trey Lance's intangibles. Now, people think I don't like Trey Lance. That's not the case. I like Trey Lance's critical factors. I like what he brings to the table as an NFL-level quarterback. I see the potential in his game. However, he is raw. I also like Mac Jones because of his consistent play playing in the SEC. Now, he's not the most mobile quarterback, probably the least mobile of all the quarterbacks, but his athletic ability should not go unnoticed. He has the ability to extend plays with his legs, but because what he does best is he keeps his eyes downfield, locked in on the receivers, going through his progressions, even under duress. when you see some of these quarterbacks coming out, you see their eyes drop. And when their eyes drop, they lose focus of these wide receivers who might gain a tenth of a second separation off their stem that would allow them to extend plays with the chains, right? Moving the chains as you hear. So Mac Jones, very accurate in all three levels, whether it's a short, intermediate to deep level passing games. He can make all the throws outside the numbers, between the numbers, the hitches, the slants, you name it, the shallow crossing digs. Obviously, the bubble screens are easy, but he throws on the proper shoulder to the receiver in stride. And that's something that you don't see very often coming from a college quarterback. You see all these stats and, oh, he has a 76% completion percentage. And you're looking at that, but like, yeah, but 65% of those passes every single game are freaking checkdowns and bubble screens. I can be accurate throwing a bubble screen 65% of the time. Anybody can be accurate. My cousin, who's 5 years old, can be accurate throwing a bubble screen 65% of the time. So how good is that number, really? To me, it comes to throwing to the receiver on the proper shoulder is what determines accuracy, and especially in stride, because a lot of these times when you get to these intermediate, deeper throws, if you can throw to the receiver in stride, you're allowing your receiver to, one, gain extra valuable yards after the catch, but two, turn a 75-yard pass play into a deep house call. And that could be the difference between victory and defeat. Gosh, I love talking football. All right, Lunar Mystic from the BEASTwriter Family. Get Wilson, trade Jimmy G for the 15th and the second round pick. Get Alex Smith as a bridge quarterback, pay Warner. Ooh, I like it. I like Alex Smith. Who does not like Alex Smith in San Francisco? I would love to have Alex Smith in San Francisco. Now, does he fit the scheme? Probably not. Probably not. But I like Alex Smith in San Francisco. Who does not like Alex Smith? Dan Angodi says, say Fred stays. Do you think the Niners would draft Troy as well? Possibly, yes. Possibly, yes. My answer is possibly. And I would be a fan of that. I'd be in favor of this. Lunar Mystic for the 15th pick, get J.C. Horn. Ooh, I like it. The New England Patriots obviously hold the 15th overall pick. Could they get J.C. Horn? Could be. I see them going after someone else, though. Maybe Najee Harris. Or Mac Jones if he falls, which I doubt that happens. Lunar Mystic for the 43rd pick, Eric Stokes. Everyone's talking about this Eric Stokes. I'm going to do a podcast on that coming up, so stay tuned. Manuel Gonzalez. So are the Jets keeping Sam and getting Fred, and Niners are getting Wilson? Possibly, bro. Possibly. That's all I got to say. That possibly. Michael McCann, you got to stop responding to the haters, brother. You give them a voice by acknowledging their shade. Very true. Very true. Very true. Very true. And thank you so much for subscribing, and welcome to the BEASTwriter family. Appreciate the love. Kim Ferrison, Beast, what do you think is going to happen with Fred versus SF? Ooh, Fred versus SF. You know, here's the thing. The headline reads what, right? Why 49ers might trade Fred Warner to the New York Jets for the number 2 overall pick. Might. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not one of these people who says, oh, it's a done deal. The Niners are giving up Fred Warner and the Jets are receiving Fred Warner, and in return, the Niners are giving up blah, blah, blah picks, second round, third round picks in the future years. No, I'm not saying that. But it can happen based on the analytics that I pointed out earlier. And that's why you guys follow me. And that's why I want you guys to think and formulate your own analysis as to why you believe it can happen. Now, do I want this to happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Kim. I don't want this to happen. And Fred Warner's dad was just on here, and he agrees with me. Everything I said has been on point. He's like, you could be right, man. Time will tell. Good stuff. You're spot on. And if anyone would know, it would be his father. So the question now remains to be seen. Will Fred Warner ultimately be extended, or will he be in another contract snag like DeForest Buckner? My gut feeling is I don't know, because I don't have a gut feeling yet. But what I will say is the smart play, if I was GM John Lynch, although I'm not, but if you make me the 49ers GM, we wouldn't be having this discussion. He would have already been earned that contract extension. And I don't care if I have to invest money up front in order to secure his financial future because he earned it. He earned it on that rookie deal. So you want to look out for the player's best interest. And I don't think that they're doing it because they haven't extended him yet. And why wasn't he extended? Was he possible trade bait for possibly moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo before they moved up from 12 to 3? And is he still trade bait, possibly moving up from 3 to 2? Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mike LaFleur, Robert Saleh, Fred Warner. Interesting. Roy Solis, can't they just franchise tag Warner until Jimmy G is gone? No. Roy Solis, thank you so much from the BEASTwriter family. They cannot franchise tag Warner because he is under contract right now. So they cannot slap the franchise tag because he has 1 year left on his deal. But next year, the following year, they could franchise tag Fred Warner. So in 2022, yeah, that could be a play. But then you also have, you got to remember, so 2022 is coming up, and then who else is coming up the year after that? Nick Bosa. Gonna get interesting. Schoolwork from the BEASTwriter family. Nah, Jets definitely ain't trading that number 2 pick. Okay. Eric Reitenbaugh from the BEASTwriter family. We can always go after Troy Warner. Interesting. I like Troy Warner. Trey Magnon, Beast, great live chat once again, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And again, if you're just tuning in, good things here are in here, man. I love talking football. I love talking with all of you guys. Let's keep it 100. Everything's awesome here. Everything's awesome here. You guys bring good vibes here. And again, all those trolls who are chiming in here saying, "Oh, BEASTwriter family sucks. Oh, you guys don't know what you're doing," or BEASTwriter, you're this, you're that. What do you know? Well, hey, they're the ones chiming into our family. They're the ones trying to bust through our door. Well, this is our house. We run this. This is our house here in the BEASTwriter family. We got to protect the house. Remember that? Remember the Under Armour commercials? Protect this house. And for those who don't know, yes, I was sponsored by Under Armour as one of their athletes. And I did a 49ers commercial for Under Armour for the NFL Combine, believe it or not. Posted some workout videos. Maybe I'll post that up on YouTube, and then people can be like, "Well, who are you?" And be like, "Okay, well, here we go again. Here we go again." Michael McCann, Rhode Island. La Fericus Monster, America. All right, well, I don't know what's going on here. Mark from the BEASTwriter family. Financially, trading Warner makes sense. No need to lock up long-term deal. More money for next year and years to come. Rookie quarterback deal can then all the money if you trade or release Garoppolo. Yes. So by trading Garoppolo, you would save the team $23.6 million in cap savings. Now, the question remains to be seen. Are they going to trade him? No. Why? Because one more year. One more year. One more year. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is what I'm going to say every time when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo. One more year. One more year. Why? Because when John Lynch and freaking Kyle Shanahan said, "Oh, he's our quarterback for one more year," he's basically saying, we're going to draft a quarterback at 3. Don't get it twisted. But we're going to let that quarterback ride the pine a little bit, learn the system. So when we need a scapegoat, if Jimmy Garoppolo goes midway through the year and the team is now 3-7, we can just roll in the new quarterback and say, "Hey, Jimmy G is not getting it done." Or if he gets injured, be like, "Hey, we already got somebody behind you. See ya, Jimmy Garoppolo. You're done. You're done in San Francisco." On the flip side of that, to play a little bit of devil's advocate, as I said earlier in this live stream, so if you're just tuning in, I'm going to catch you up. What if Jimmy Garoppolo in his first 10 games and the team goes 7-3? Then John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan can be like, "Oh, you know what? He was our quarterback. We said it. We said we liked Jimmy Garoppolo all this time. All this time we liked him. One more year. One more year." So they're teetering the fence with that one more year crap. Come on. Take a stance. Scott Alexander. I'm from Edinburgh, Scotland. 49ers fan since 1983. Hey, how you doing? All the way from Scotland, 1983. Wow, that was the year I was born, 1983. So you've been a fan longer, just as long as as I've been living, which is awesome. From Scotland. Cheers. What time is it in Scotland, Scott? Huh. You're from Scotland. Your name is Scott. So what time is it in Scotland, Scott? 49er fan. Be part of the BEASTwriter family. This is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Jason Ellsworth says, we're getting a lot of information here. Wow, you guys are just I am behind on the comments. I'm like really behind in these comments. Really behind. All right, so let's just get here. Where am I? Oh, Jason McKay from the BEASTwriter family. Thank you so much for your generosity and welcome to the BEASTwriter family. You asked, Ryan, can you see a scenario where the Niners trade up to number 2 without giving up Fred Warner? No, because the 49ers don't have the draft capital in doing so. They already gave up multiple, 3 first-round draft picks, a third-round draft pick this year to move up from 12 to 3. So if you're looking at from Jets GM Joe Douglas's standpoint, you're going to want Fred Warner because obviously draft picks are not guaranteed. That's the same analysis that I pointed out with GM Nick Caserio and a potential trade for Deshaun Watson. The same thing is going to play out here, bro. If you're a GM and looking at it from a GM's perspective, you want guaranteed leverage in return. And how do you leverage any type of blockbuster deal? With a player who has proven himself to be consistent over the course of X amount of years. Fred Warner is the best at his position. Wouldn't you want a Fred Warner? I would take Fred Warner over any first-round pick in next year's draft. Unfortunately, the Niners don't have a first-round pick to even offer because that's already with the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because at the end of the day, again, if you're Jets GM Joe Douglas and you have CJ Mosley on the trading block, you're obviously looking for a middle linebacker. This middle linebacker class is weak, as in weak sauce. So I'm not going to go after a guy like Nick Bolton at number 23. No, that's like a waste of a pick. I'm going to want Fred Warner so I can now double down on those gains at 23 and go in another direction and pick up the best valued player who I feel would fill a need while not diminishing the value of the pick by reaching for need with an inside linebacker because I already got my quarterback of the defense in Fred Warner. So I don't see a move being made where they can't give up a guy like Fred Warner or Nick Bosa, maybe. But I doubt it would be Nick Bosa simply because of the fact that the Jets GM Joe Douglas just went out and signed former Cincinnati Bengals Carl Lawson to that big deal. He had 8.5 sacks his rookie year coming out of Georgia, I believe. And again, when you look at that and put all that production all together, he hasn't really done much since. So they're banking on his rookie potential rather than consistency over the last 3-4 years. How do I remember that? I don't know. But thank you so much for your feedback. And again, thank you for your generosity and welcome to the BEASTwriter family. Love the super chat. People are wondering what a super chat is. This is a super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your generosity, man. It really means a lot. And it definitely helps out a lot. Jets gang, Sam thing we're getting Sam thing we getting for Sam. Fernando Alvarez from the BEASTwriter family. Instead of Warner, why not trade Greenlaw number 3 pick and a 3rd round pick for the number 2 pick? Thank you so much for your question. And the answer is very simple. Fred Warner's on a different level than Dre Greenlaw. You can't include Dre Greenlaw and expect to get a same tradable valuation process grade on it. Because again, you're looking at 2 different players at 2 different positions. One, you're looking at an outside linebacker as opposed to the middle linebacker, quarterback of the defense. Fred Warner is head and shoulders above Dre Greenlaw. No offense to Dre Greenlaw, but I think that's kind of common sense. You are going to want to leverage this trade with an all-pro player, not someone who is on the up and coming. Because again, they're not guaranteed either because they haven't been consistent. What you get with Fred Warner, you know what you're getting. So I would say Fred Warner. But thank you so much for your analysis. Chewy Chew, having a rookie quarterback deal and trading Jimmy away gives us extra money to extend Bosa Warner. Yes, absolutely. Jay Christopher from the BEASTwriter family. I hope the Jets keep Sam Darnold. Ooh. Are you a 49er fan or a Jets fan? That's interesting to point out. Andrew Castillo from the BEASTwriter family. You're doing great, bro, but don't pay attention to these haters. Follow you on IG and tagged you yesterday, but good job, bro. Oh, you tagged me? What'd you tag me in? I didn't see the tag. I got to see this now. What did you tag me in, bro? I got to look now. You got to look at, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, again, people who follow me on Instagram know that's just mainly, it's been mainly for my Fitspiration. People know I fitness model. I'm an Evogen sponsored athlete, Busy Fit Meals, sponsored athlete, yada, yada, yada. But I didn't know that you tagged me. So what did you tag me? I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this after the live stream and get back to me. But thank you so much. I appreciate the love and support, Andrew. You're awesome. Andrew Castillo, you're doing great, bro. Don't pay attention to these haters. Follow you. Oh, there we go. Another one. We're getting double comments. Interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Oh, we got a lot of stuff here. Man, we're getting a lot of stuff. All right, let's just go here. Wow. Let's see what we can get here. All right. Gunnar Azives, thank you so much for your generosity and welcome to the BEASTwriter family. He asks, I'm late. What was the Warner trade scenario? Also, if we trade for Wilson, do you think they trade Jimmy G on draft night? Okay, so here's my Warner trade scenario. I'm going to go ahead and break it down. If you're just tuning in, just hear me out. All right. So why the 49ers might trade Fred Warner to the New York Jets for the number 2 overall pick is very simple. Jets GM Joe Douglas obviously didn't want to strike a deal with the San Francisco 49ers because they didn't hold draft position at number 12. Now that the 49ers struck a trade with the Miami Dolphins moving from 12 to 3, they now hold draft position to where the Jets can only move back one spot and still pick up the player that they like. If people who also say that Saleh probably told John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan that they weren't taking Wilson, that's fool's gold, because why would the Jets show their hand losing draft position when they pick one slot ahead of the San Francisco 49ers? That's not Jets GM Joe Douglas's MO, coming from the Baltimore Ravens and Eric DeCosta and Ozzie Newsome. They never show their cards. It's like a game of Texas Hold'em. Why would any player at the table display their whole cards before the flop comes out and then be like, oh, I'm all in now? And you'll be like, okay, well, you have a losing hand, bro. Like, why would you do that? You just lost your position. Furthermore, the Jets have a plethora of different needs along both sides of the offensive line. They can look at quarterback, running back, tight end, right tackle, offensive guard, defensive end, middle linebacker, outside linebacker, quarterback, strong safety. Okay, that's 10 needs. So they have a plethora of different needs. Furthermore, they also need draft capital, but the 49ers do not have the draft capital to give up, to move up from number 3 to number 2 for a guy like Zach Wilson, who I believe that's their target. They're going to have to give up Fred Warner. I put this up on an earlier podcast, how the Jets would likely want a first-round pick, or the Niners would likely want a first-round pick in return. However, getting back to this podcast, let me just put in perspective. The Jets, and peel back another layer of the onion to really get to the core, the Jets also have CJ Mosley on the trading block, who's their all-pro Pro Bowl linebacker, who was a 2020 opt-out, and the only reason he's in New York in the first place is because why? He came from a 34 base defense. And they can't release him because they would be absorbing a $12.5 million cap hit. What they can do is trade him, and then those losses turn into a gain where you can actually save the team $1.5 million in cap savings as a pre-June 1 trade, and a post-June 1 trade would save the team an additional $6 million in cap savings. When you then roll over the cap savings there, and then you peel back another layer of the onion to get to the core, this is now the third layer of the onion. Again, let's talk about Mosley coming from a 34 base defense. The team is now transitioning under Robert Saleh to a 4-3 base front, coming from Alabama, now moving on to Baltimore, and then playing with the New York Jets. Those are all what? 34 base defense. Why are the Jets moving on from CJ Mosley as trade bait, fielding offers for him? Because he's a 3-4 base linebacker. Furthermore, let's double down on those gains. Can Fred Warner be in a contract snag like he was with DeForest Buckner, which is why DeForest Buckner shipped out, and people say, oh, DeForest Buckner wasn't owed $20 million, way too much money. That's Aaron Donald money. Well, what did he do? He was just first team all pro. So he was worth that money. And there was 5 or 6 teams that would have made a play for him. So let's not take it lightly. Teams were willing to pay the farm and give up $20 million for that player. And let me tell you something. Interior rushers are more important than edge rushers because you're generating pressure up the middle, collapsing the pocket, and allowing the quarterback no time or no passing window to go through his reads down the seams. interesting to point out, could this be another contract snag, right? And let's peel back another freaking layer. I believe the 49ers target Wilson simply because anybody who says they're going after Trey Lance or going after somebody else, it's a smokescreen. Because why was Lynch at BYU's pro day in the first place? If he knew that the Miami Dolphins trade was going to go through and knowingly that trade was going to go through, why would he even be at that pro day? Why would he even be at the BYU pro day knowing that Zach Wilson was going to go to the New York Jets? Because let me tell you something. To me, it was only to meet with Robert Saleh and Jets GM Joe Douglas, who were also there, and he's probably saying, hey, we really like Zach Wilson. Can we kind of work out a deal to where we can move up from 3 to 2 and possibly get a player like Zach Wilson, and we'll give up something in return? We can't give up draft capital because we already gave up 3 first-round picks to the Miami Dolphins. You know this. But what we can give up is maybe you guys have a need for a middle linebacker, don't you? Robert Saleh's like, yeah, man, I have a need for a linebacker. You know what I want. Jets GM Joe Douglas is like, yeah, we're not having CJ Mosley around very much longer, so we need somebody. Why not instill the all-gas, no-break culture, quarterback of the defense, and have that franchise core player that you've been wanting all along, because you're not going to get it in this draft class because this middle draft class is weak sauce, and go after a guaranteed product like Fred Warner. Just saying. So that's my analysis. That is my analysis. Tony Nagatani, thank you so much for your generosity. Tony Nagatani is chiming in with the super chat. Thank you so much for the BEASTwriter family, bro. I appreciate your super chat. I did talk to you yesterday, I believe, right before I hit the gym. You're asking non-NFL question, Beast. Can you talk proper nutrition for fat burning, proper eating techniques, especially if one subscribes to a low glycemic diet? Yes, we talked about your high intensity interval training and what times you should eat your foods. So I'm just going to go ahead and break it down for you. Proper nutrition consists of a thing called macros. So this ties in, football and fitness is going to tie in together here. So this is why you guys probably want to tune in. Macros is short for macronutrients. It's your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. You need a good portion of each and the percentage of each based on your certain diet that you have. Furthermore, for fat burning, what you want to do is, it's very important that not too many people talk about this, but there is science behind doing fasted cardio. Fasted cardio is basically doing things on an empty stomach. So when you run on an empty stomach, right when you wake up, you'll be burning the fat source as the source of energy as opposed to carbs. That's what you want to do, because people, when you work out, you want to burn what? You want to burn fat. That's want to be your main source of energy. So if you do fasted cardio, that would be my number one thing for you if you're trying to cut weight. Especially proper eating techniques. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So your proper eating techniques, you really want to talk about eating meals and time sensitive your meals probably every 2 hours. So if you're eating 6 meals a day, 2 hours in between meals, and definitely weigh your food. So I can go about that and talk to you more about that in detail later. I actually work with some pro football players, some on the Niners, obviously, some on these other NFL teams, and I actually meal prep their food. So I tell them what to eat before the games. I tell them what to carbo load up. Like if they're hitting a strong leg day and I have them on a certain workout, I'll be like, okay, so we're hitting leg day today. So what we have to do is we have to get a lot of carbs in you. So as your pre-workout meal, we don't want too much fat in you, but we want to carbo load you up. So go ahead and maybe I'll give him, like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but maybe I would say, hey, go eat like 4 donuts. Like legit, go eat 4 donuts before your workout. And then before that, strike a protein shake, a whey protein isolate, get that in your system. And then during your workout, have with you some Rice Krispie treats and let's snack on that. So that way, you're talking about glycemic index. This is high on the glycemic index, right? So you really want the high glycemic index food because the storage form of carbohydrate is called glycogen. And when you're glycogen depleted, that's when you start losing muscle. This is the things that you don't want to do. So again, there's a lot of things that go into this, and people are probably watching this like, what the heck is Beast talking about? This guy is like going like, whoa. But no, this is what I do, football and fitness. But thank you for your question. I hope this helps. All right. Gold first, 2 first. Okay. There's a lot of stuff on here. A lot of stuff. All right. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them my way, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. RM says, the eyes of your firstborn child for Bosa, only deal worth accepting. New York Jets FL says Mosley was not signed by Joe Douglas. No, he was not, and I did not say he was signed by Joe Douglas. Actually, if you want to talk specifics, he was signed by who? Mike Maccagnan. That is correct, Mike Maccagnan. Maccagnan. Michael McCann from the BEASTwriter Family. Do you think Zach Wilson is that much better than Justin Fields? I think you meant to say Justin Fields. Justin Fields, that it would be worth giving up a player like Fred Warner. No. And to answer your question, absolutely not. I am not giving up Fred Warner. However, unfortunately, I'm not John Lynch, and ultimately, it's his decision. Timothy Richard, we wouldn't move up to draft anything other than a quarterback. Any other decision doesn't matter. Yep, I have to agree with you there. Graph and Kick, stop trading Fred. He is the heart of that defense. Yes, thank you so much from the BEASTwriter Family. Agree with you. Ooh, Graph and Kicks also says Jets can have Eric Armstead. Yep. Unfortunately, he has $28 million in dead money, so you can't get rid of him. The 49ers are just stuck, bro. And you can blame Armstead for that. Jay Amon-Ra says, so you're saying Fred Warner has a value of a mid-second round pick because that's the difference between a second round pick. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say the value was a second round pick. Where did I say that? I don't think I said that. Ghosty Boy from the BEASTwriter Family. Bro, our defense goes from above average to below average just by taking Fred out. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. I'm with you, bro. Like I said, I don't want this to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but don't be shocked if it does. Timothy Richard from the BEASTwriter Family says, the only pick I would move up for is the number 1. And he also says, what happens if Urban wants Lawrence? Well, Trevor Lawrence is going number 1. Jets Gang says, not happening. Okay. So he says it's not happening, or he doesn't want Fred Warner. Do you not want Fred Warner? Who doesn't want Fred Warner on your team? All right. Graph and Kick says they're taking Penei Sewell. Interesting. We have a lot of comments in here. And again, if you're just tuning in, I am going to break everything down brick by brick. Rosanna Baker says from the BEASTwriter Family, is there any scenario where they trade Warner to the Jets for number 2 and 23? And then trade Jimmy and later round draft pick to New England for 15. I can see Jimmy Garoppolo being shipped to New England. I think that's almost going to happen. I don't care what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan say. If the right offer is going to come and New England really wants to make a play for Jimmy Garoppolo and it's an offer they can't refuse, how can you move off that spot because you don't have favorable draft position anymore and you mortgage your future by moving up from 12 to 3? So if you can yield a first or second round pick, you go ahead and do that for a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. Now this whole 1 more year talk, now they're walking the freaking fine fence here because they're saying, oh, we like Jimmy G just in case he goes 10-2. We can always say 1 more year. But on the flip side, if they go 3-7, then they can be like, that's why we drafted this quarterback behind you because you're weak in the knees and you're injured and we are 3-7. So let's get in Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, or whoever's behind center, Trey Lance, doesn't matter. And we can roll that way. You see how they kind of teeter the fence there? How they say, oh yeah, we like Jimmy Garoppolo for 1 more year because we really don't know what we're getting with this quarterback. Because obviously what I've been saying all along, first round picks are no guarantee. We don't know if these guys are going to pan out. But what we do know is what we get with Jimmy Garoppolo, a quarterback who is definitely a boomer bust prospect because the bust side of it is, can he stay healthy? It's crazy. It's just nuts. I don't know. A lot of stuff here. Graph and Kick says DeMeco Ryans would run through Kyle if he traded Fred. The same was said with DeForest Buckner. Let me tell you something. Robert Saleh was upset about the DeForest Buckner. In fact, a lot of people are still upset, shocked, and surprised about DeForest Buckner. They were texting me. That's why I use those words. And still, till this day. Every time I bring it up on the live stream, and the players and the coaches and their families, they're all chiming in right now, and they all watch my live stream, and they're saying, dude, I still can't believe the Hordes of DeForest Buckner, man. This is one of the dumbest moves ever. It's like, I can't believe they did that. Would they say it publicly? Absolutely not. They're not going to go out and be like, what do you think DeForest Buckner should? Oh, man, like, and even off the record, they wouldn't tell anybody this because they don't know who they're going to tell. So integrity is everything, and players and coaches and everyone involved, the family members, have to be able to trust you. Pino Anderson from the BEASTwriter Family. Giving up Warner for swap picks won't be fair. Do you think Jets will have to give up the 23rd or a second to the 49ers to make the trade fair? To move up from 2 to 3? I mean, if the 49ers are moving up from 3 to 2, I mean, giving up Fred Warner, they would have to give up definitely something else in return, for sure. For sure. It can't be just a one and done, right? You can't just give up Fred Warner and then move up one spot. So I think that the Niners would have to yield something in return, like maybe a second round pick, because they don't have. I mean, maybe a first round pick, maybe the 23rd pick. Yeah. So maybe they move back one spot, pick up Fred Warner and the 20th. That could definitely be a play. That could definitely be a play to move back one spot, because they have multiple first round picks, but the 23rd spot is a nice pick to be at. It's a sweet spot. Looking at my analytics and looking at my mock draft and how I see the board actually currently stacking up, the 23rd pick is a very nice spot, because depending on how the draft board falls in real time, that 23rd pick can actually yield more draft capital. So I would be hesitant, if I'm Jets GM Joe Douglas, to move off my spot from 23. I would try to say, can we kind of stretch it out to a second round pick, or maybe a multiple second round picks and Fred Warner to move back one spot? Because I know you guys need draft capital. That could be a tough one, because if I'm Jets GM Joe Douglas, that's going to be a tough spot to move out of at 23. It's a nice position spot to be in. But thank you for your question. Jay Amura from the BEASTwriter Family. That's terrible value for the 49ers to package a third pick and a first team All-Pro on his rookie contract to move up one spot. I'm sorry, but this doesn't make much sense to me from the 49ers point of view. That's okay. You can agree to disagree. I don't know. New York Jets Floor said, I had pizza today. Pizza's awesome. I love pizza too. In fact, I kind of want pizza now that you mentioned it. Timothy Richards, I said I wouldn't give it up. I better get the number 2 overall for Warner and also our 4th. All right. 49ers Ultimate Report. Thank you so much for your generosity, and welcome to the BEASTwriter Family on today's live stream, buddy. You've been late. You never answer my question. Here's the question. If Zach Wilson is drafted, is he a day one starter or not? Also, why do people hate on Ryan? People hate because... Here, I was talking to my friend, a really well-known person. I'm not going to name drop his name, but he's pretty well-known. You guys probably heard of him. But I actually had this conversation last night. Haters hate because, and I told him this, haters hate because it's a direct reflection upon them of their failures. So when they look at me, it's just a direct reflection upon them that they're not in the position that I'm in. So it just makes them, like, it's just a problem within themselves. They're just fighting with themselves, and they're using whatever they can as an outlet. So that's why they hate, because, we all know the saying, they hate us because they ain't us. But in actuality, they hate because, again, it's the direct reflection upon where they are in their respective lives. So he liked it because he was like, man, I'm getting hate so much. I was like, dude, you're so successful, bro. Like, you have millions of people following you, dude. Like, I would love to be in your shoes. And he's like, yeah, but he's like, I just have so many haters, it gets to you. And I was like, dude, look at it this way. Like, they hate you for a reason. There's a reason why they're chiming into your channel, not the other way around. Just like I said earlier. He's like, oh, you're right. And I said, furthermore, it's actually kind of funny, like, for them to take time out of their schedules to go see what you have going on. It's like what I told Jim Harbaugh. All right. I left, and again, I talked to this about on another stream, but I told Jim Harbaugh this the day he left San Francisco. It was our exit interview. Actually, no, it was the last game that he coached at Levi Stadium, right before he said bye to, I believe it was Frank Gore. I have that video up and stuff, and you guys know about that. But I talked to Jim Harbaugh and for briefly, and then we were talking, and then he's like, I really like you. I said, oh, thank you, man. He's like, yeah, you asked really good questions. And I was like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. He's like, football. He's like, I'm going to miss you. You do a good job. So, he's very like professional and like very serious. And you can tell he's just stressed out. Right. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I have a quote that I'm going to give you. He's like, okay, what are you talking about? I was like, are you into quotes? Like what, quotes? He's like, oh yeah. I was like, okay, here's a quote that I want you to kind of like think about. He's like, okay, what is it? I said, don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about why you're worried about what I'm doing. In other words, don't worry what I'm doing. You should be worried why you're worried about what I'm doing. And he looked at me. He's like, I like that. And then I'm pretty sure he's like, I'm going to take that with wherever I go. So he's off to Michigan now. Don't know if he uses that quote, but just something to take. Haters are always going to hate. Let them hate. RM says, Jets taking Sewell will get Saleh fired. Ooh, Penei Sewell. Antonio Rosales from the BEASTwriter family. If 49ers trade Warner, they need to find a way to get Parsons. Ooh. Antonio Rosales, thank you for your analysis and insights. I do like Micah Parsons out of Penn State. Again, Penn State linebackers, I do like. Obviously, we see with Navarro Bowman being drafted in the 3rd round, so the lineage is there. However, if you watch my earlier podcast on Micah Parsons in my pre-draft analysis, you would know that I see him as a better fit as a strong side linebacker, more so than a Mike linebacker in the heart of the defense. I explained my reasons why. Go ahead and watch that podcast. Just type in BEASTwriter, Micah Parsons. It'll pop up. I actually have him mocked to the Carolina Panthers in my mock draft 1.0 at number 8. But go ahead. Obviously, that has changed. I don't see them going after Micah Parsons now, but the analysis as to why he would be a better fit as a Sam linebacker as opposed to a middle linebacker, it's all in there for you. So thank you so much. Jets gang, no way we want Bose. I think you meant to say Bosa. But thank you. Dan and Gody from the BEASTwriter family, do you think that trade package was put together for Watson and then they changed course when the Watson situation happened? Oh, here we go, Dan. Now you're talking, bro. Now you're talking my language. Possibly, bro. Possibly. Interesting. All right. So we are so crazy with these questions, man. We are. Jason Ellsworth, call me crazy, but I have a feeling that Kyle could give the 3rd pick to the Vikings. Wow. My man, Jason Ellsworth from BEASTwriter family dropping some knowledge. He says, call me crazy, but I have a feeling that Kyle could give the 3rd pick to the Vikings for Kirk Cousins. I honestly wouldn't put it past him at this point. LOL. Yes. That would be that would probably get Kyle Shanahan fired. If you do that, that would get Kyle Shanahan, because at this point, with the Vikings drafting at number 14 overall and the needs that they have, I think their better play would be to stay pat at 12 and just make a play for Kirk Cousins for the number 12 overall pick. That one I can kind of see, man, moving up, giving up the farm from number 3 and then rolling down and picking up Kirk Cousins, giving up that 3rd overall pick. That would be, oh my gosh, that would just be collateral damage that cannot be repaired. Interesting. Jeffrey Samler from BEASTwriter Family. How do you get the rate free agency this offseason from 1 to 10 and why? How do I rate the free agency? Thank you so much for your question. From 1 to 10 and why? I did pick my free agency winners. Go ahead and you can watch those earlier live streams and podcasts. It's broken down in there. Just subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. Again, if you have yet to subscribe to the BEASTwriter family, go ahead and do so. We are giving away this 49ers farewell to season Candlestick Park flag. And we do this every week of the month. So it's good things coming. So again, if you're on Twitter, just click the link in my bio. It's up there 24/7, 365. Also, if you're on Facebook, which a lot of you guys are, do me a solid and just go to www.youtube.com/BEASTwriter and you can subscribe there. If you're on YouTube already, you will see a subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, as you see here, as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Mike Legend from the BEASTwriter Family. Beast, I don't know if you saw my comment, but I said just like what I see. Stay up and keep grinding. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the love, bro. I did see it. I didn't see it, but I see it now. Thank you. All right. So if you guys have any other questions, please shoot them over my way. Gosh, we have a lot of questions. A lot of Jets fans in here. A lot of Jet fans in here. All right. Let's go ahead and get something. All right. Brandon Green says, what are the chances Fields ends up being an elite quarterback if drafted by the Niners? To be honest with you, I am not high on Justin Fields, but if there's one quarterback coach or one offensive guru who can get the most out of his players, it's Kyle Shanahan. So I'm not going to put anything past Kyle Shanahan unless he proves me wrong. However, people tend to forget that we wouldn't even be in this position because his chosen quarterback was who? CJ Beathard, who they traded up in the 3rd round to get. CJ Beathard was his quarterback, and where is he? He's now off to Jacksonville playing for GM Trent Baalke. So this just goes to show, is he a good talent evaluator when it comes to selecting his own quarterback for his own system? I mean, that's a serious question. Getting back to Justin Fields, do I think he can be good? Yes, absolutely. Do I think he'd be great? Absolutely. I mean, the guy has the critical factors to go ahead and do that. Will it happen? I don't know. I'm higher on Zach Wilson than I am Justin Fields. Antonio Rosales. 49ers and Jets must have been talking this whole time. Shanahan knows who the Jets are taking. Otherwise, this trade makes no sense. I just broke that down earlier as to why this trade actually does make sense. And I'm not going to repeat it, although I could, but I just talked about it like 3 or 4 times in this live stream. You can go ahead and replay this after it's done, and you'll see my layers of the onion to really get to the core as to why it does make sense. The chances are very high. Absolutely. And Fred Warner Sr. was on here too, and he agrees with me. Just saying. All right. Let's go ahead and see what else we got. Anthony Young says, why would we trade Warner? This whole post is stupid. Well, you know what really is stupid is the fact that you're saying this when actually Fred Warner Sr., his dad, is actually saying good stuff, bro. You're spot on. If anyone knows what's going on, wouldn't it be his dad? So who's the stupid one now? So you telling me to stop this? No, we're just going to keep this going. And this is good vibes only. And Anthony Young, you're just been booted out of the BEASTwriter family. Just like that. Boom. Out. Next. Love doing that. It's the first time I've ever had to do that. But, right now, we don't need these bad vibes only. It's all about good vibes only in here. So we're going to keep the good vibes going. Key Jones, thank you so much from the BEASTwriter family. Thank you for generosity. Key Jones 25. I see you. Says Niners stay at 3. Wilson gone. Trade down with Carolina for swap and 2022, 2023 first rounders and take the quarterback that falls. Interesting take. So that would probably be Mac Jones or Trey Lance. So you'd be happy with Mac Jones or Trey Lance and still pick up multiple first rounders. I don't see this happening. I think they're going to stay there, buddy. But, anything can happen. But good analysis. Oh, Cardboard King from the BEASTwriter family. Thank you. He says, his question is, what stops the Jets from trading with someone like Carolina or Denver? They can offer more draft capital than the Niners. We have Warner, but if someone is offering 2 first-round picks and they don't take. Okay, I'm going to break it down brick by brick as to why. So you say Carolina. Let's go ahead and let me just talk about the analytics there. Who's the new GM there? Panthers GM Scott Fitter. Where does he come from? The Seattle Seahawks. Okay, first and foremost, what does he like to do? Build teams from the inside out. Furthermore, where is his draft position? He drafts number 8. Okay, sitting there at number 8, and what they did in free agency, what did they do? Well, I'm going to peel back layers to get to the core. They went out and get Denzel Perryman, a middle linebacker. They also got Hassan Reddick on a 1-year, $8 million contract. They then doubled down on those gains on the flip side of that, picking up Pat Elflein from the New York Jets, also got Cam Irving as an offensive tackle from the Dallas Cowboys, and more importantly, got wide receiver David Moore from the Seattle Seahawks. You combine what they did in free agency, double down on those gains and what their needs are remaining in the upcoming NFL draft. You then compare the vertical board based on the horizontal board, and you look at what the draft needs are. They have a plethora of needs. Those are quarterback, tight end, offensive guard, defensive tackle, cornerback, and strong safety. If you're sitting there at 8, why would you move up to number 3 or number 2, in this case with the New York Jets? Why would you go ahead and do that when you are holding favorable draft position at number 8 to pick the best player available on their board based on the needs that have just been met? Furthermore, let's talk about the Denver Broncos. What do? Who's their GM? Patton. It's no longer John Elway. Furthermore, what are they slotted to pick at number 9? What are their draft needs? What did they do in free agency? Who's their head coach? Vic Fangio. What do they like to run under Ed Donatell's scheme on the back end? Let me tell you, they just signed Ronald Darby to a 3-year, $30 million contract. They then doubled down on those gains by double dipping in what they did with Bryce Callahan back in 2019, stealing a player from the Chicago Bears to the Denver Broncos. They doubled down on that with Kyle Fuller inking a 1-year, $9.5 million contract. They now have 2 boundary cornerbacks where Bryce Callahan can now kick inside to his natural slot position. He was playing the boundary cornerback role because AJ Bouye was not getting it done. He had to kick outside. He now moves into his more natural position. They're not going to go cornerback. Ideally, I thought that guy would be Patrick Surtain, but they also hold favorable draft position. Why would they move up to number 2? Look at their needs. They have quarterback, tight end, offensive guard, defensive tackle, and a strong safety. Well, if you look at what's going to be coming in that draft position, it's no point to move up to that number 2 spot based on what their needs are, because you can get a Kyle Pitts, possibly. He can fall to number 9. You can get an offensive guard like Rashawn Slater at number 9. You can get a cornerback like Patrick Surtain, possibly at number 9, before the Dallas Cowboys pick at number 10. So if they were to go that route, the needs based on the vertical board and the horizontal board plays in their favor with draft position sitting there at number 9. Those are the reasons why those teams do not make much sense, in my opinion. Key John's 25. So I hope this puts things in perspective. I know I went a little fast for you, but I hope that puts things in perspective, because at the end of the day, again, it's hard to just put stuff out there without doing the legwork. And I'm not saying you didn't do the legwork, but that's just my analysis and my analytics as to why I don't think those teams will actually make a play at number 2. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. It could happen. Now watch me be wrong and you be right, Key John's 25. But yeah. Cardboard King, thank you so much for your analysis. I appreciate it. Let's see who else we got here. Tommy Huxley, Bama and Ohio State quarterbacks are all busts. True, but the same was said of Texas Tech. And who came out of Texas Tech? Pat Mahomes. Alabama quarterbacks are bust, but look what's happening. Who's the 2 starting quarterbacks of the 32 NFL teams right now? Tua Tagovailoa and who? Jalen Hurts. People forgot Jalen Hurts did play for Alabama. That's right. That's right. Ohio State. Where did Joe Burrow come from? For LSU, he went to Ohio State. Playing behind who? Dwayne Haskins. Antonio Rosales from the BEASTwriter Family. Fournette should trade down to number 4 with the Falcons and include Matt Ryan to the Niners in the trade. That would be hard. Tom Huxley says, the last Bama winner in the NFL was Joe Namath. Okay. John Alana says, great coach from our ex-coach. It actually wasn't a quote from Jim Harbaugh. It was a quote from me given to Jim Harbaugh. Beast, I just subbed and I like what I see. Stay up to date and keep grinding. Thank you so much, Mike Legend. I appreciate the love and support. This is awesome, man. The BEASTwriter family here is strong. We had some haters in here, but they have since gone. I don't see them in here. Yeah, they're not in here anymore. They got scared. Five-star Hustler says, if we trade Warner from the BEASTwriter family, if we trade Warner, I'm done. Jason Ellsworth says, Anthony Young, people thought they wouldn't trade Buckner, but they did last year. Yeah, absolutely. But Anthony Young is he's young. He's probably young. Well, he is Anthony Young. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he chimed in and just kind of like act like he knew, but he's not here anymore. He's gone. He's gone. See, we put him to rest. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Rick Lara, for the Beast Rider love. I appreciate it, man, and your generosity. Again, people who want to know what's a super sticker or a super chat, this is a super sticker and super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, bro. Thank you, Rick Lara, on this happy Saturday. All right, we got a lot of questions. I mean, the questions are just keep. Oh, my man. A guy called Ed. BEASTwriter Family right here. Could the Caleb Farley injury potentially make him available with our second pick? Would you take him in the second round or a late first trade up? Depending. Okay, to answer your question, I'm going to say this. I have to see how the draft board falls because a lot of these players are going to be pushed up the boards and a lot of these better players at a position of need, if I'm the San Francisco 49ers, are going to start falling. Depending on who's available at the tail end of the first or the top of the second is ultimately going to determine whether or not I feel the value is there to trade up for that draft position and select a guy like Caleb Farley who enters with back problems. That is a concern for me. Being in the fitness game, I can assure you that back problems are no joke. It can be a chronic condition and can hamper a player's career for the foreseeable future. That is something to be very extremely wary of. Trust me on this. Now, with that being said, whether they call it a minor procedure or not, I don't take that lightly. Just because, maybe because of my background and being in the fitness game and knowing how everything works and being NASM trained, I don't take back. Anything that has to do with back is not good. It's not good. With that being said, if the value is there and I see Caleb Farley's value there, I may take a risk on him in the second round. I think the 49ers hold the 43rd overall pick. If he's sitting there at 43 and if I believe that he's the best player on their board, I would strongly consider taking Caleb Farley, yes. Despite the red flags. High risk, high reward, but hey, you got to have the balls to make those power play moves. Trey Smith from the BEASTwriter Family. What position did you play? Well, in college, I played intramurals with San Diego State, and we won the intramural IFC championship game, playing with all the D1 talent. I was believe it or not, I was a strong safety, and that's what I played. In high school, middle school, high school, I was wide receiver, defensive back, and then also played point guard and shooting guard in basketball, and then also played track and field. Yeah. I wasn't the tallest guy. I'm only 5'5", bro. Rick Lara, do you think, which is probably why I didn't play boundary cornerback, do you think Bosa should be traded now or wait to see if he has a good 2021 season? Then maybe go after the picks we give up next year. I wouldn't, Rick Lara, to get to your question, man, I wouldn't trade Nick Bosa, bro. I love Nick Bosa. I think he's a great player. I think he's a generational talent. I said that on many different occasions. I think he's going to have one heck of a game, one heck of a year. I really like him. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Kelly Garcia. If we are going to trade Warner, we should trade him for Lawrence, not Zach Wilson. Interesting take. John Ellis, my bad, Brian. Keep with the court. You're good, bro. You're good, man. No apologies necessary, bro. You're good. We are good here in the BEASTwriter family, bro. No apologies necessary, bro. Good vibes. Let's move on. Let's see here. Dang, there's just so many questions in here. You guys are just firing off questions. RSP49 from the BEASTwriter family. Drafting players with injury history is not smart. I hope they learned their lesson with Hurd. Yes. RSP49, thank you so much, and welcome to the BEASTwriter family. I have not heard from you yet in our live stream. Thank you so much. I agree with you 110%. They need to learn from their past behavior mistakes. Jets gang. Jets fan from the BEASTwriter family says, who should the Jets pick with their 23rd pick? Thank you so much, Jets gang. And again, welcome to the BEASTwriter family, bro. Take flight. Love talking Jets football with all you guys. You guys know that. I love New York Jets. I love what they're doing there. What the 23rd pick, depending on my current draft position and how the board's stacking up, I'm still running through my mock drafts based on the blockbuster deals. So I'm still getting intel, talking with people internally, as well as externally, and then formulating my analytics accordingly. As it pertains to the 23rd pick, you guys have a ton of needs. However, obviously, you guys are going to get a quarterback with your number 2 overall pick or number 3, wherever you guys go. At 23, if a guy like Travis Etienne somehow falls or Najee Harris falls, I can definitely see you guys going after one of those 2 players. If not them, I can also see you guys, I know it sounds crazy, but you guys can go after a guy like Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State. I think he might be a smart play at 23 because you then solidify the offensive line. And if you look at what you guys are trying to do, you guys just signed Dan Feeney, right? Another guard. So you pair him up with Dan Feeney, and then you give whoever the quarterback is, whether it be Sam Darnold or Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, whoever their quarterback is, some weapons there. And if you look at Jets GM Joe Douglas is doing, he signed Corey Davis to what was it? A 4-year, $37.5 million deal or something like crazy like that. They signed Tevin Coleman to that 1-year deal. They also got Keelan Cole from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they made a lot of sound plays on the offense side of the football that I really like. And they can double down on those gains by simply solidifying the offensive line. They already have Mekhi Becton. You guys already drafted him, I think it was 11 overall or something like that. You guys drafted Mekhi Becton out of Louisville, so he's going to be a sound player for you guys. So on the left side. So the question now remains to be seen. What are you guys going to do to give whoever that quarterback is help up front? I think ultimately Jets GM Joe Douglas is not dumb. He comes from the Baltimore Ravens tree. Obviously, they like to build their teams internally from the inside out. I look for that to be an offensive guard. But then again, you guys just lost. Then I double down on this. Okay, well, it could be also Zaven Collins, right? Zaven Collins, you guys also lost. You guys need help at edge rushing. So who could you guys realistically get? You guys got Carl Lawson. You guys got guys like Sheldon Rankins, who I really like. I really like Sheldon Rankins, but he's not an edge rusher. You only got Carl Lawson on one end. So who's going to be your other defensive end or your other edge rusher? Could they go a guy with Jalen Phillips? Could he slide down? And would you guys want to pick him? I don't know. It's interesting. So I think it's going to be offensive line or defensive line. That's my take. But thank you for your question. As of right now, of course. Timothy Richard says from the Beast right here, both are a risk if we trade or keep Bosa. Trade him, get the most out of his value. Then when he gets hurt, and proves us right about the injuries. Yes, absolutely. All right. RSP49 says Jets could take Pitts, most sure pick. Ooh, Jets could take Pitts at number 2, man. I don't see Kyle Pitts falling outside the top 10, bro. I really don't. I really don't see Kyle Pitts going outside the top 10. That's just my opinion. Again, everybody can have your own opinion. No one knows for sure. For all we know, he can go in the second round. I mean, no one really knows for sure until it actually plays out because no one is God. But with that being said, I see Kyle Pitts being a top 10, 15 pick, as Graphing Kicks just pointed out. All right, Sean Shepard, thank you so much for joining the BEASTwriter family. He says, what if they are really and thank you for your generosity, bro. I appreciate it. That's very generous of you. What if they this is a super chat for everyone's wondering, chiming in, like, why is their stuff highlighted? Well, this is a super chat for those who don't know. So if you like the work, like the channel, like the BEASTwriter movement we're striving to build, consider sending me a super chat. It's just another fun way for you to engage with me. Also, anyone who sends me a super chat, obviously all proceeds get donated back into the BEASTwriter family, so I'm not keeping a penny. It's just to have the maintenance and upkeep of the visual, the audio, the software, along with some other different parts. Obviously, we do Family Friday giveaways where we give away this 49ers farewell to candlestick flag, along with other stuff. If you're not a Niner fan, not to worry. We have some really cool stuff for you coming up as well. So all good vibes here. So subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so here on YouTube. His question, what if they are really going after Trevor, not Wilson? Balky likes to trade. Yes, Balky does like to trade. I know Balky personally, and yes, he does like to trade. In fact, He loves to trade, but he also loves Clemson players. Trust me on this one. But you are absolutely right on, man. He does like to trade. Rams forced everyone's hand. You think Fields would be good with Kyle? I think Fields would be good with Kyle. Yes, I think Justin Fields would be good with Kyle. I think Zach Wilson would be better with Kyle, but Justin Fields would be good with Kyle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great points. And then again, thank you for your generosity, Sean Shepard, part of the BEASTwriter family. Appreciate all the love and support, bro. It really means a lot. And it really just, words can't express how thankful I am. So thank you. Niners all day 55. Yes, he'd be great with Kyle Fields and Kyle were at a camp. He trained Fields. He knows what he can do. He's our quarterback. All right. All right. So we got some good. Oh, my man Bunk from the BEASTwriter family says, late to the party. Watch your early thoughts on here. And not sure you answered this. How would the locker room react to including Warner and trade packages swap spots with the Jets? Not favorably. We talk about the locker room dynamic, Bunk. If you missed it, Fred Warner Sr. was on here. Obviously, he's one of my biggest supporters, part of the BEASTwriter family here, along with you and everyone else who subscribed to the YouTube channel. And he chimes in and he saw, wanted to talk to me about what was going on. Said I'm spot on. Great stuff. Keep up the great work. He said, I obviously do my homework, know my stuff. Listen. If they do this, heads will roll in San Francisco. If Fred Warner is traded to any team, heads are going to roll because people are going to look at this and say, you know what? Kyle Shanahan is favoring the offensive players. Look what's happening. We play defense, bro. And if we're really good, we're just going to be traded off for more offensive players. Think about it. DeForest Buckner, traded away. Defensive player, first team All-Pro. Fred Warner, first team All-Pro. Could he be the next in line to be traded away? Who knows? George Kittle, first team All-Pro. Extended. In-house. Just saying. And again, it goes back to, again, what can happen? Like, what logically can happen here? And how would that create a toxic locker room dynamic? It would. It would. Absolutely. Trust me on that. Brandon Green from the BEASTwriter family. Have you scouted Trey Sermon? What do you think of him? Oh, I like Trey Sermon. Okay, so let's talk mock draft. Let's go off course a little bit and bridge into other conversations as it pertains to the NFL draft. I love draft. You guys know that. That's my sweet spot. This is my favorite time of the year. Obviously, most of my following comes from the draft analysis and my spot on predictions and so forth. But draft is my favorite part of the year. You guys know that. So when it comes to Trey Sermon, I have players in 3 different tiers when it comes to the running backs in this draft class. In tier 1, I have Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and Javonte Williams. That's my tier 1. My tier 2, I have Michael Carter and Trey Sermon. I love Trey Sermon's game. I like what he brings to the table. Obviously, he is a transfer to the Ohio State University, and he balled out of control. The guy is fast. He's quick. He's tough. He's aggressive. I like what he brings, the power in his game. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's very fluid, and he definitely is patient with his feet when seeing the holes develop in front of him. That's one thing that I like to see in my running backs. He does a very good job at that. You see the agility, the explosiveness. You see the instincts for him to break tackles and then also make tacklers miss. So he doesn't cower out of bounds a lot of times too. He fights for those valuable extra yards. These are things that I all look for. Trey Sermon, I really, really like. I really like Trey Sermon coming out of the Ohio State University. He would be a nice day 2 pick. I probably have him going in the second or third round. I would say second round. I don't see him getting out of the second round. In fact, it would be hard pressed for him to get out of the second round. Yeah, I like him. Graphing Kick says, can't believe Trent got another GM job. I could believe it. But yeah, a lot of people are in the same line of thinking of you. They're shocked. They're shocked. All right. Graphing Kick says Fred plays through walls while making under 1 million. Have to reward him. Yep, have to reward him. Sean Bullard says Trey Sermon would go in round 4 or round 3. I have him a lot higher than that. Based on my vertical board, based on my horizontal board, again, I put him in a different tier. He comes in at tier 2. this running back class is not the strongest. So obviously Trey Sermon's stock is going to be elevated. In any other given year, yeah, I would probably put him in probably a 3rd round grade, but his stock may be elevated up into the 2nd round. And ultimately, the question was asked, where actually might he end up? I see that being as a late 2, potentially early 3rd round pick, potentially. All right, we got some great questions. Wow, you guys are just on it. Big Dez from the BEASTwriter Family. Why would you trade Warner when he is the quarterback of the defense and the new DC developed him personally? That's not doing your new DC any good. Reward your cornerstone players. Yes, absolutely agree, bro. I absolutely 100% agree with you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe to the BEASTwriter Family. All right. Nico Wilson chiming in. Nico, how are you from the BEASTwriter Family? Miss you, bro. We bought Sanu in for veteran presence. I heard Debo was a little upset when he left. I think it's a good idea for the young receivers. We have a good possibly new rookies will bring it in. Yeah. Okay. We'll see how that goes. Vinny Matt, he's not all that. He played in D2, not that hard comp. Fields played Division 1 and played against way harder teams, and he is a leader we need. Interesting. Big homie and Nem. 2 hours later, and my man is still kicking. You truly are a beast. Hey, I love talking football, dude. Like, legit, thank you so much for the love and noticing that. But I just love talking football. Like I said, this is what I love to do. Here I am on a weekend. It's 1:28 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and here I am talking football with you guys. No joke, my coach is watching this, and he's probably saying, you need to go to the gym. Yep. 14 minutes ago, he's like, you need to go to the gym and get your gym gains on. Stop talking. I'm like, no, coach. I know you're watching this. I'm going to continue talking because this is what the BEASTwriter Family is all about. And he's probably going to get mad, but whatever. Who cares? We have fans from all different fan bases, whether it's the New York Jets, whether it's the San Francisco 49ers, Carolina Panthers, Arizona Cardinals, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, Baltimore Ravens, Chicago Bears. I mean, it's all good vibes in here. I love it. And all these Jets fans are tuning in, and they're all part of the BEASTwriter Family. Subscribe to my channel, so they'll be entered for those giveaways too. And it's just good vibes in here. Like, I just love talking football. Like, they're asking me, what I'm going to do with the 23rd pick if I was Jets GM Joe Douglas. What's going to happen if they possibly do trade up to number 3 or trade back from number 3 from 2? How is that going to play out? What's the domino effect on that, and how it's going to impact the other AFC East teams? I can went ahead and went over that a little bit. There's a lot of moving different parts, man. I just love talking football. And again, if you're going to follow somebody, if you're going to subscribe to someone's channel, you better know what you're talking about, not just as it pertains to the team that you're covering. You better know all 31 other NFL teams. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point? So I like doing this, man. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Damn, we're getting so many stuff. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, I am really behind on these comments, yo. They're just coming in hot. I like it. Okay, let's see if we can get to some of these questions. MILF Under. Oh my gosh, this is funny. I wonder if this is definitely probably someone, one of my friends who I compete with. Thank you for your generosity. I cannot stop laughing by your handle. Sakamoto IFBB Pro. What you height and what show weight? My height is 5'5". My weight is probably 154. So I'm going for my IFBB Pro card. We'll see how it goes. I want to get up to like the 160, 162, maybe 165. I might even, people already know this, but I'm just going to tell you, I don't care. It's probably already out there. I might jump up and bump up to classic too. So I might do both physique and classic because the judges were telling me for my physique, I have a broad frame. My traps, I have big traps. I tried to bring them down. It just doesn't work. So obviously I'm going to try and turn those weaknesses into a strength because obviously you need that V taper. And when you have big shoulders like that, boulder shoulders, it really hurts your physique standpoint and symmetry, obviously. So I'm going to probably do both physique and classic. So with that being said, I kind of want to be the biggest guy in physique for my weight class. So I'm kind of maybe hovering around 165, maybe even 170, man. So I'm going to be doing a lot of eating. Yeah. But you're probably watching this and probably like, oh, yeah. You already know the answer, probably. MILF Hunter. That's so hilarious. See, people get, man, I'm just saying. But thank you so much for your generosity. Hilarious. Graphing Kings, stay hydrated, fam. Yeah, definitely stay hydrated. I got to stay hydrated. Drink my water. All right, let's see. Let's see what else we got here. We have such questions. All right. RSPP says, I hope Jets take Pitts. Interesting. I would love Pitts in, oh man, Pitts in New York would be so fun to watch. Man. All right. Mustafa from the BEASTwriter Family says, Niners fan. Ooh, well, we're getting so much. I missed it. Hold on. Ooh. Niners fans got to deal with us drafting Lance. It's a very high possibility. It could be happening. Timothy Richards said, I think that's a mixed thing with favorites. I bet if you dig into aside from Buckner, which we should have paid, not Armstead, it's a timing thing because we were going to be bringing it up again when Bosa time comes. I don't know. Yeah, Armstead was horrible. Don Levi from the BEASTwriter Family. Lance can sit out a year and learn the system. He is 20 years old. Very young. Charles, my man Charles. I just talked about you, Charles, earlier on this live stream, bro. He's a Carolina Panthers fan. Very knowledgeable. Love him. He's part of the BEASTwriter Family. Good vibes only. Again, we have all 32 different fan bases. We have Steelers fans chiming in here. We have Panthers fans today. We have Jets fans, obviously. 49ers fans. We have Steelers fans. All over. Love it. The BEASTwriter Family is going strong with this one. All right. Where do you see Caleb Farley going? I spoke about this, bro. I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go in the tail end of the first round. Because boundary quarterbacks in this draft class is not the strongest. And if you can get a guy in the tail end of the first, you go ahead and do it. So watch a team that likes Caleb Farley to maybe jump back up in the tail end of the first round, make a trade, and go ahead and get Caleb Farley. If that plans out, just check off another YouTube receipt for the BEASTwriter. Boom. If not, you were wrong, bro. Boo. Yeah. Interesting. Sean Sherper says, you notice his coach quit texting 15 minutes ago. Yes, I know. He's not very happy, Sean. He is he's not happy. He's like, get to the gym. And I know you're watching this right now. I know you're pretty ticked off, but no, I'm going to stay on here. I'm going to stay and talk football. I'm really going to get in trouble for this, but you know what? It's all worth it. I like doing this. I rather talk football than work out. Like, dude, low key, when I'm at the gym, I literally, like, NFL Network will be playing. If you watch my Twitter, you can see, like, I posted some videos on Twitter, like me multitasking. Legit, I will just be at the gym talking football with random people who are next to me watching, and then they're having a conversation. I'm like, oh, so what'd you think about that? Oh man, I think it's good. And then legit, I would be like not getting my workout in. I'd just be running my mouth more than I am with my arms. Like, I'm not working out my muscles, I'm working out my mouth. It's like, hey, I love talking football, dude. Like, what do you want me to say? And then someone else comes in and be like, oh, whoa, don't you have that YouTube live stream? Like, didn't you cover the Niners? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh yeah. And then we talk about, oh, but what do you think about my Steelers? Conversation happened last night. What do you think about my Steelers? And then I was talking to him about 25 minutes. Legit was at the gym yesterday for like 4.5 hours. I'm not kidding. Probably talking about football more than anything else. Love talking football, man. Doesn't matter what team. College football too. I have a lot of friends who coach in the SEC who are college football coaches in the SEC who are my friends. Keep in touch with them. Big Ten as well. And they always say, like, dude, like, why don't you just become a coach or a scout or something? Like, you just talk football all the time. Like, you telling us what to do, and you're usually right. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. I just love talking. And then I go, I have too much going on, Like, dude, you should really consider. I'm like, nah, I don't know. I like doing this. This is fun from the comfort of my own home. I'm not going anywhere. I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't have anyone to answer to. I answer myself. It's all good. Warner DeLille from the BEASTwriter family. Hey, BEASTwriter. I'm new to your channel. Would it make it more sense to get draft capital back from the Jets since Warner is so coveted instead of straight up swap? Yes, it would be. It would be. And thank you so much for the BEASTwriter family. Welcome, first and foremost, welcome to the BEASTwriter family. Honored to have you inside of our family. Anyone who subscribes to my channel, or our channel, I should say, you're part of the BEASTwriter family. This is our official logo since you're new. It's BWF. It stands for BEASTwriter Family. I made this logo specifically for us and the movement I'm striving to push for. And here in the BEASTwriter family, it's just good vibes only. For those who don't know, I cover all 32 NFL teams, and I'm trying to bridge all 32 fan bases into one to where we can have a healthy discussion. I see all these other social media platforms where one's trying to one up the other, and I don't really like that. I'm just totally against that. And here it's about the aloha vibes, the good vibes only. So mahalo for subscribing to my channel, and welcome again to the BEASTwriter family. But getting back to your question, you make absolutely great sense here. I love your analysis here. It would make more sense to get draft capital back for the Jets since Warner is so coveted instead of a straight up swap. And I believe that they would. Now, it would take for Fred Warner to be traded to the New York Jets. They would also have to yield something in return, right? So if the Jets were to get a guy like Fred Warner, the Jets would obviously have to give up maybe the 23rd overall pick or maybe their second rounder. So look for that to be a possible potential trade scenario to where the Niners can recoup draft capital on top of trading away Fred Warner, moving up one spot and getting Zach Wilson. Great analysis. Thank you so much. And again, welcome and mahalo. Niners all day 55. RSP, he's not worth it if he's going to be that was to RSP. Okay. All right, I think we're pretty much done. I don't know. You guys have any more questions? I think we're pretty much it. Jay Roman, too much hate for Trey Lance, in my opinion. Watch his 2019. He had high expectations as a freshman and balled out. Ooh. Alex J from the BEASTwriter family. Seahawks got no picks. Well, they got 3. I said that in an earlier live stream. They have the least amount of picks of any NFL team. And again, if you want to talk about the Seattle Seahawks, I can do this off the top of my head. Obviously, they don't have a first-round pick because they traded for Jamal Adams with the New York Jets. So obviously, that's why the Jets hold the 2nd and 23rd picks overall. They also swung a deal for Gabe Jackson coming over from the Las Vegas Raiders, yielding a 5th-round pick. And so they gave up a pick there. So they don't have very many draft capital picks to begin with, and they equals to 3 total. And John Schneider doesn't really use first-round draft picks anyways. And when he does, he trades them. So based on his MO, he can care less. And they did make a great signing. They re-signed Carlos Dunlap to a 2-year, $16.6 million contract. They now team him up with Kerry Hyder Jr., who also signed a 3-year, was it $16.5 million contract? So that was something that's really awesome. The Seahawks are doing something, and I was going to do a podcast on this, but the Seahawks are doing something that no one is really talking about. They're making really good sound plays. And again, if you're going to talk about the 49ers, let's talk about all 32, especially when it comes with the division rival Seattle Seahawks within the NFC West. They went ahead and got tight end Gerald Everett from the LA Rams. Great play. They went ahead and doubled down on those gains by getting Gabe Jackson, teaming up with 3rd-round pick Damian Lewis out of LSU. Good play. They also, if you guys tend to forget, what else did they do? They went out and got Kerry Hyder Jr. and quarterback Ahkello Witherspoon, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They got Ahkello Witherspoon, if you watch my earlier live stream, because of the fact that Shaquille Griffin went off and signed that big money contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the boundary cornerback position was definitely a need, and we don't know what's going on with Quentin Dunbar. So they needed the boundary cornerback, and then you roll in Trey Flowers because, again, they don't have much draft capital, so they're going to roll with Trey Flowers, who has starting potential, and Ahkello Witherspoon on the boundary cornerbacks. Now, what else did they do? Well, again, if you see what they did with the edge rushers with Kerry Hyder Jr. and now Carlos Dunlap, bringing him back because you're saving the team in excess of $14 million by releasing him, because obviously he was a midseason trade with the Cincinnati Bengals. They couldn't afford his 2021 cap number, so they released him and then signed him to a new 2-year deal. Makes financial sense. What happens here is they're rolling the same exact route that GM John Schneider likes to do. Again, we have to talk about the method of operation here, right? Why was the move made? Well, let's take a look at it, right? From the Leo position, typically you want the cover 3 Seahawks Leo position to be in the 4.6, 4.7, 40-yard dash range and the 250 to 270 pound range. Well, that's what Carlos Dunlap brings to the table. He is a player that clocks in at 6'6", but 277 pounds. He has the height, weight, speed. Furthermore, it shortens the needs list to what the Seahawks need to go and get in free agency, or in the draft, excuse me. And if you look at the Leo positions that they had over the course of the years, they had guys like Chris Clemens, right? They had guys like Bruce Irvin, Cliff Averill, so Frank Clark. So when you have those guys who run in those measurables, it really does make sense. And again, what's John Schneider's MO since becoming the team's GM? He always has 2 edge rushers who bring a veteran presence. What did he do back in 2014 to 2016? Cliff Averill and who? Michael Bennett, right? Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett over the course of the years. And what did he do in 2019? Oh, he got Jadeveon Clowney and Ziggy Ansah. What is he doing in 2021? Just 2 years later? Kerry Hyder Jr. and who? Carlos Dunlap. So you see what their MO is doing. Again, if you're going to talk about all 32 NFL teams, we really need to dig deep and see exactly what's going on. And that's why I love talking football, because again, how can you talk about one specific team and criticize that player when all you're doing is comparing that player to the same players on that team? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Anyways, we are getting so many comments here. We are on. We are on. I mean, geez, I'm like really behind the comment. Thank you so much, Robert Watson, for tuning in and sending me your super sticker. Robert Watson, thank you so much. I know you just sent that. If you're tuning in, which you are, obviously, thank you for your generosity. And your package is here, by the way. I'm just going to get it. I'm not going to show exactly what's on it. But anyways, this is your package, bro. It's packaged up for you, ready to be shipped out, as you are the Family Friday winner of our first BEASTwriter Family giveaway. I hope you like it. Let me know your thoughts on that once it arrives. But thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. This is going to your P.O. box. So, yeah, I hope you like everything. All right. Alex says Blitz, Bloy, and Kerry Hyder. Yep. Dude, that's going to be one deadly combination. Jason Ellsworth says, what round would you take? Oh, here's my coach again. I am not playing around. Get to the gym. What round would you take Troy Warner in? I lost my train of thought. I think I'm in trouble. Jason Ellsworth says, what round would you take Troy Warner? Interesting question. I have to do more tape on him. However, with that being said, I do like his game. I wouldn't mind taking the flyer on him in the fifth round, a late 5th round pick, maybe mid 5th round pick. But I'd say a 5th round pick. I really like what Troy Warner brings to the table. I like his intangibles. He could be a heck of a special teams player. In fact, that draft stock might even go even higher than a 5th round grade for me. So I'm going to do a whole-on podcast on Troy Warner. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be something that you guys are going to be like, whoa, where'd that come from? I just like doing things differently. So again, that's why I love these super chats that come in, because again, it will allow us to keep the flow of the BEASTwriter Family movement going. And again, I really want to do game film breakdowns. So in a perfect world, obviously, once we allocate and once we have enough, once I get everything squared away, we will go ahead and do some game film breakdowns. I think that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. But thank you for your question. All right. Ooh, Schoolwork says, say hello to NFC East champs. How about them Cowboys? Pitts or Surtain at 10? Yes, absolutely. Schoolwork. Again, Dallas Cowboy fan, obviously. Part of the BEASTwriter family. He says Kyle Pitts or Patrick Surtain. Yes, I can definitely see that happening. All right, we got some good stuff coming in here. Oh, let's see here. Man, we got some good stuff in here. All right, I think I'm probably going to head out because my coach is like, dude, you got to get out of here. You got to go. You got to go now. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in to the BEASTwriter Family podcast as it pertains to Fred Warner possibly being traded to the New York Jets for the number 2 overall pick in hopes of landing Zach Wilson to the San Francisco 49ers. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but don't be surprised if it does. And again, if you like what we had to say here in the BEASTwriter family, and when I say we, I mean me, and obviously the comments and the analysis that were provided by those who subscribe to the channel, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to my channel in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. Also, if you're on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, you'd be subscribing here. If you're on Facebook, just open the new web browser that you see in the ticker below, www.youtube.com/BEASTwriter, and you'll be entered for our Family Friday giveaways given every 2:30 p.m. on our live stream. As you see, Robert Watson was the first winner. Mel was the second winner, and we are giving away this Family Friday candlestick, farewell candlestick flag as well. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got to get to the gym. I got to take my pre-workout. I also got to take my pre-workout meal. So I'm going to be pounding the crap out of it and then hitting my workout. I know you guys wanted some workout tips. I'll be posting some videos for you. But thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate the love. I don't want to get in trouble anymore, so I'm just going to head out. BEASTwriter out.